Number 12, Roger Staubach, quarterback, Dallas Cowboys. Typical rollout, typical pass, typical completion. Exactly what the Philadelphia Eagles will have to stop tonight. Plus this crunching, driving runner from Yale University, number 35, Calvin Hill. And that Dallas defense. Hitting all over the field. 55, Leroy Jordan epitomizing it in almost every play. But the Cowboys must stop this man. Number 5, quarterback Roman Gabriel. And that man, number 17, Harold Carmichael. The Cowboys against the Eagles.
On the first day of autumn 1974, it's a beautiful night in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania for football, the temperature in the mid-50s. And tonight it's the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. Dallas, in search of its 9th consecutive year of having reached the NFL playoffs, has one game under its belt, a convincing 24-0 win over Atlanta. Philadelphia, meanwhile, was upset last week by the St. Louis Cardinals. And another loss tonight would dampen considerably the optimism that has swept this city following last season. And ABC's NFL Monday Night Football is brought to you by Lincoln Mercury, who invites you to see all their new 75s, including the new precision-size Monarch, Friday, September the 27th, the day of the cat. And by Gillette, makers of the Gillette Track 2 two-bladed shaving system. It's the closest thing to a perfect shave.
Kate Smith's rendition before every Philadelphia Flyers hockey game, and they're the Stanley Cup champions of God Bless America, became a good luck symbol for sports fans in Philadelphia. Well, we may not be able to help the Philadelphia Eagles tonight, but we think we've got a fitting contest to follow up Buffalo's incredible 21-20 victory over Oakland a week ago. The Eagles against the Cowboys, with another interesting contrast in coaches. The Eagles, led by Mike McCormick. He took over a year ago, revitalized the Eagles team, acquired Roman Gabriel. He led the attack. But looking forward to a big growing season this year, encountered that upset that the Gipper mentioned at the hands of St. Louis a week ago. So he feels he must win tonight. The Cowboys, led by the ageless Tom Landry. 8 straight years in the playoffs, winners of 1 Super Bowl, and almost incomparably winning coach. So he's got everything going for him, including a plenitude of football talent. Now, I'd like to talk about the respective defenses of the two teams with my colleague, one of the great defensive players of all time, number 71, Alex Karras, Detroit Lions. Fill us in on those two defensive units.
Well, Howard, the way I see it, the Philadelphia Eagles has a young football team defensively. They made a lot of mistakes last year. They were very low on the totem pole defensively. They acquired Bill Bergey from the Cincinnati Bengals. He's more or less like a Dick Butkus. He's going to roam all over the field tonight. He's going to knock the heck out of a lot of people. As for Dallas, they have a seasoned defensive football team. Guys have been playing together for 10, 12 years. The big acquisition, of course, is Too Tall Jones, who's been used primarily as an defensive pass rusher. The man is sensational. He's vicious and he's mean. Last week, get this, he ate 3 offensive halfbacks and didn't even spit out the cleats. What do you think of that?
What do you think of Harvey Martin, number 79?
Well, he's the same type. He's a second-year man, and Martin and Jones are used for pass rushes. And I think because of Gabriel's idea of throwing the ball as much as he's running, you're going to see more of Martin and Too Tall tonight.
Okay, you've already mentioned the great Philadelphia acquisition, middle linebacker Bill Bergey, number 66 from Arkansas State. So let's find out something about those offenses by bringing in the senior blue eyes of the troop, the Gipper.
Thank you, Howard. Thank you, Mongo. Offensively, the Dallas Cowboys were almost as awesome on offense last week as they were on defense against the Atlanta Falcons. Now, whether or not they're for real, maybe we'll find out tonight. The heart and soul of the Dallas offense is Roger Staubach. He's their leader on the field. He's their spiritual leader. He can really get it done. He came back after a few weeks off against Atlanta. He ran, he passed, he led the offense as only he could do. He is quite a leader. He has two fine outside receivers in Golden Richards and Drew Pearson, and a great tight end in Billy Joe Dupree. His counterpart, and when he wants to give the ball off to a man who can make the yardage up the middle, well, he has number 35, Calvin Hill. We almost left Calvin out because Calvin is a little bit questionable. He hurt his toe last week against Atlanta, but Calvin says, toe's all right, I'll give it a go tonight. A good receiver as well as a good runner. Staubach's counterpart for the Philadelphia Eagles, Roman Gabriel's been around a while. He can get it done when he has the time to get it done. That's going to be the big question tonight. Roman Gabriel last year came into Philadelphia after 11 years with the Rams, and he really got it done. And his principal receiver was a guy that is 6'8", an outside receiver, Harold Carmichael. He caught 67 passes last year, 9 touchdowns. And at the tight end, a rookie of the year last year, Charlie Young from the University of Southern California. He caught 55 passes. So it should be an all-out offensive game with Charlie Young on the receiving end of Roman Gabriel, the big hands of Harold Carmichael. Can it offset the offense and the defense of the Cowboys? We'll find out in just a minute.
This touchdown pass and defeat the 49ers in this 72 playoff game was a great moment in my career. But I'd like to introduce you to another great moment. This is Gayla Vaughn. She has undergone open heart surgery to correct a critical defect. Not every child survives this ordeal. Gayla did. A great moment in her life. There are a lot of great moments in life, and you can share them by supporting your local United Way. The United Way, thanks to you, it's working.
The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Football League. And you're looking at part of a capacity crowd of a little over 65,000 that have gathered here at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia to watch their Eagles against the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys with one win against the St. Louis Cardinals. The Eagles lost their opener to the St. Louis Cardinals 7-3. Setting it up, Mac Percival, acquired recently when Tony Fritsch was hurt for Dallas. Percival, obtained from the Chicago Bears. Will do all the kickoff duties as well as the field goal kicking. Number 27, Poe James. Number 33 is Randy Jackson. Randy Jackson just acquired by the Eagles from San Francisco. A wind gusting to around 14 miles per hour, favoring Percival's kick. And this will be Poe James at the goal line. No, Randy Jackson takes it away. Jackson over the 15 to the 17-yard line. And let's take a look at that offensive unit of the Philadelphia Eagles. We've talked a lot about this man, Roman Gabriel. He had a big year last year, 460 passes. And Norm Bulash, acquired last year from Baltimore, had a big year. There's Tom Sullivan. He does it all. He was in the top 5 both running and receiving. And how about this man, 6'8". And Don Zimmerman will be on the other wide receiver. And the former All-American Charles Young in his second year at the tight end position. So set to get underway here at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. The Eagles, 1st and 10. We're just underway. The ball at the 17-yard line. Gabriel goes to the air on 1st and 10, and he's going deep. He wanted his big man, Harold Carmichael. Carmichael racing down the sidelines, or rather Don Zimmerman down the sidelines. And quickly the offensive line. Guy Morris will be at center, number 50. As we look at Steve Smith, his job will be handling the rush of Ed Jones tonight. Wade Key is a one guard, Guy Morris at center, Mark Nordquist at right guard, and Jerry Sizemore at the right tackle. This will be the defensive front four that they will be attacking. They are awesome. Larry Cole, Jethro Pugh, Bob Lilly, Pat Toomey. On the sure pass, we're going to see Ed Jones and Harvey Martin. 2nd down and 10, the ball up to 17. Getting the call and rolling for about 3 yards is Norm Bulash. The linebackers for the Dallas Cowboys, well, they're not awesome when you look at them individually, but they get it done. Number 52 is Dave Edwards. He's been around for 12 years. Leroy Jordan's been around for 12 years. And D.D. Lewis has been around for 6. They don't make mistakes. The defensive secondary doesn't make mistakes because if you make mistakes on defense for Dallas, you play somewhere else. It's as simple as that. 3rd down and 7. The ball resting over the 20-yard line at the 21. And it looks as if the Cowboys were drawn off sides as Harold Carmichael is wide open. Carmichael beat Renfro and D.D. Lewis at midfield. 33-yard gain by the Eagles. And this, Howard, is what we expected Philadelphia to do. Come out throwing the football.
Exactly so. As we look at the replay, Alex and I had breakfast this morning with one of the Eagles coaches, Johnny Idzik, and Alex tell them exactly how Idzik described they were going to go deep in a hurry.
Well, that's exactly what they said. And the reason they said that is because primarily they throw short passes. They said they're going to go a little longer tonight and really mess up the secondary of the Dallas Cowboys.
Carmichael beating Renfro on that play. You saw him turn Renfro completely around. The ball is at the 48 now with the Cowboys. Gabriel again goes to the air and goes out to Don Zimmerman, incomplete. Covered out there by Charlie Waters.
Frank, if I may, as Charlie Waters, number 41, was covering Don Zimmerman, the other point I wanted to make, Alex, was what Idzik told us about watching number 34, Cornell Green, the strong safety. Roman Gabriel will throw long depending upon where Cornell Green lines up in the defensive alignment, right?
That's right. If he isn't playing center field, then it's a different story as far as they're concerned.
Second down and 10. The ball resting at the 48-yard line, just inside the 48, and we're just underway from Philadelphia, no score. Getting the call is Norm Bulash. He pounds the left side, behind the blocks of Steve Smith and Wade Key, and picks up about 3 yards. Norm Bulash, who put a little life into the offense of the Philadelphia Eagles last year when he came in and gained 436 yards. He has a problem, though. He's been having a little dizzy feeling for the past few weeks, and he was a little questionable coming into tonight's game, but apparently he's been given the okay. Ball at the 45-yard line. Third down, the sure pass situation. Carmichael, bottom of your screen. Don Zimmerman, top of your screen. Gabriel holding both backs in for protection and goes for Carmichael and overthrows Carmichael in front of Renfro.
Frank mentioned the dizzy spells Big Boo, Norm Bulash, number 36, has been having all through the years ever since he was brought up as a first-round draft choice from TCU by the Baltimore Colts under the then ownership of Carroll Rosenblum. There is Big Boo. His problem has been muscle pulls. He's a superb athlete. That's why he was a first-round draft choice. Now they seem to have the muscle pulls licked, but Frank, he's got that suddenly developed dizziness you mentioned.
All right, right now you're looking at Mary Percy, the punter. This is Cliff Harris, number 43, and Golden Richards, number 83. Ball snap, and Percy handles it, but he kicks a bad kick off to the right. And it bounds out of bounds at the 24-yard line. A 21-yard kick for the rookie from Westchester State here in Pennsylvania. We'll be back at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia right after this message. Dallas, first and 10. They move from their own 24-yard line. Toss goes to big Calvin Hill. Calvin Hill running over tacklers out to the 33-yard line, a pickup of 9 yards. Offensively for the Dallas Cowboys, again, their quarterback is Roger Staubach. We talked about him at the top of the show. Roger Staubach, who gets it all done. Last year, 23 touchdown passes for Roger.
You know, Frank, that's not a very difficult play. All they're doing is pitching out to Calvin Hill. It reminds you of Jimmy Brown when they're playing against Cleveland. All they do is pitch out. Everyone knows what's going to happen, but Hill goes to the outside and picks up that yardage.
One of the reasons that offensive line punching big holes for Calvin Hill, who goes about 240 pounds. And second down, along two, the ball is at the 32-yard line. This is Golden Richards in motion, number 83. Staubach going to his tight end, Billy Joe Dupree, and overthrown as Billy Joe Dupree was picked up and covered nicely by number 28, Bill Bradley. Defensively, the front four for the Philadelphia Eagles. Jerry Patton, Joe Jones, Joe Tookie Jones, just acquired from Cleveland, and Will Wynn. Bill Dunston, however, did not start tonight. He was replaced by the Eagles' third-round draft pick this year, and believe me, that was the first one they had because they'd given up their first two, Mitch Sutton. So Mitch Sutton is in there at defensive left tackle. Third down, 2 yards for the Dallas Cowboys. No score in the game. Ball just short of the 33-yard line. Now the two tight ends are in. 84 is Cubitt, 89 is Billy Joe Dupree for the Cowboys. Now the stacked backfield. Motion now is Drew Pearson, and Roger wants a bunch of it as he goes to the air. Calvin Hill does not hold on. And Calvin Hill appears to be hurt again. He's holding that left ankle. Whether or not it was a toe, we don't know, but he's down, hit there by Randy Logan, the safety man for the Eagles. It'll be 4th down.
Susceptibility to injury, of course, has always been Calvin's major problem ever since he came into the National Football League. A superbly versatile athlete, could be equally gifted at the tight end position, as I've mentioned in past years. Indeed, always really wanted to play there. You see him limping off. Be interesting to see if he comes back in high fettle or if he spends some time on the bench and Newhouse comes in.
Right now we're looking at Marv Bateman on 4th down. He'll be punting to Bill Bradley, a dangerous punt return man for the Eagles, but Bateman really ripples one. This is Bradley at his own 25, and he goes down immediately. Bradley going down at the 30-yard line. 42-yard punt as head coach Tom Landry of the Cowboys looks on. We'll be back in Veterans Stadium right after this message. 11:53 remaining in the first quarter from Philadelphia. The Eagles in against the Dallas Cowboys. And the Eagles are coming off a fine year, directed by this man in his first year. They have a 5-8-1. I say fine year. It was, Howard, because of the Eagles' past history.
And because they came on so strongly, and included among their 5 victories a 30-16 trouncing of these very same Dallas Cowboys.
They've always had rough, tough games, the Eagles and the Cowboys. 1st and 10 for Philadelphia. They move from their own 31. And the 13-year veteran, Roman Gabriel. To Tom Sullivan. And Silky decides to go the other way and runs into a lot of Cowboys, but he still gets yardage. Tom Sullivan picking up 8 yards out to the 37-yard line.
Alex Karras, Tom Sullivan is another evidence of how you can find a gem low in the draft. Let's look at him again. A 15th round draft choice out of the University of Miami. Couldn't turn that corner, saw it. Reversed back, much as O.J. Simpson did on a given run a week ago, and then cut back up the middle, picked up the yardage. Gained over 960 yards last year, Gipper.
And he caught 50 passes. Very versatile. 2nd down and 2. The ball at the 38. The fake of the end around, going to Harold Carmichael. Hold on. No, he did not hold on. He was hit hard there by Cliff Harris, number 43, number 41, Charlie Waters.
Alex, did you notice how high Gabriel threw that pass to Carmichael and take advantage of that height?
Absolutely, and I think more and more you're going to see receivers where they're going to become 6'4" and 6'5" and 6'6", so they can get up and muscle that ball. Now, this is exactly what he did. He got up there very, very, very high in the air and muscled that ball in. Almost had the ball.
And that sets up a 3rd down and 2, and you saw the ball bounce out of his hands just before he went to the ground. 3rd down, we'll call it a long 2. It's not a good running down against the Dallas Cowboys defense. They major in stopping this kind of play on the run. And Sullivan gets the call, but he did not get the yardage.
It would not appear so. That's Calvin Hill's toe that you're looking at. He apparently re-injured it. We're waiting for word as to how quickly, if at all, he'll get back into the contest.
Calvin Hill could do so much for the Dallas Cowboys, and he will be missed if he cannot return to the game.
They never did that to him in the Harvard games, Frank.
Merritt Kersey in to do the punting. Free agent. Made this team in the Philadelphia Eagles tryout camp. This is Cliff Harris, 43. Golden Richards, 83. Kersey this time with a better kick. And this is Golden Richards. And Richards is taken out of bounds at the 37-yard line. Hit there by number 85, Charlie Smith. 10-10 remaining in the first quarter. We'll be back.
Leroy Jordan, middle linebacker out of Alabama. Been around forever, so it seems, yet with his guile, his experience, and his still continuing speed. I don't know of anybody who reads better than that man, Alex, and I don't know of anybody who's more where the ball is at than that man.
Dallas, 1st and 10. The ball at their own 37-yard line. The 2 tight ends are both in there. Billy Joe Dupree, 89. Fugit, 84. And, well, Philadelphia jumped off sides, but were they drawn off? That will be the debate. The referee tonight, Fred Swearinger. 5 yards marked off against the Philadelphia Eagles. Mike McCormick of the Philadelphia Eagles, great player in his time at the Cleveland Browns, has done a fine job here in Philadelphia. 1st and 5. The ball is at the 42-yard line of the Cowboys. Robert Newhouse. And Newhouse up close will be about very close to the first down, and I believe he does have it.
You know, Howard, this what really gets me is these doggone punters. Now watch this here. Here's the snap. He's going to kick it. Here goes Percy's kick. There's no one around him, and watch this act. Oh, he fell on his little pompey.
Well, he made the team as a punter, Alex. 1st and 10 for Dallas. They're at their own 48-yard line. The two tight ends remain, Fugit and Billy Joe Dupree. Golden Richards, as the handoff goes to Walt Garrison. Garrison goes down right at the line of scrimmage. Hit there by Jerry Patton.
Jerry Patton, of course, an acquisition not too long ago from the Buffalo Bills. You're going to be seeing a lot of Bobby Newhouse for the Cowboys this year, even if Calvin Hill is healthy, because Calvin is one of 8 defectors to the World Football League, and Tom Landry is not one to stand idly by and let his team languish. Newhouse can get you a lot of valuable yardage. He's a Swift Don Nottingham, really. There's Calvin's foot. Oh, that poor toe.
2nd down now, about 9.5 yards, as Newhouse lost half a yard. Roger with the screen out on the flat. It goes to Drew Pearson. And Pearson down the left sideline, but he'll be short of the first down. Taken out of bounds there by John Outlaw, number 20.
What a find he was a year ago, Giff. Remember Alex Karras, Drew Pearson, free agent out of Tulsa. Nobody knew much, if anything, about him. And then in the playoffs against the Los Angeles Rams, made perhaps the key play of the season for the Cowboys. The Rams won't forget it. Perhaps later in the show, we'll get a look at that play just to revivify the memories of the fans.
You know what I'm surprised at? I'm surprised that Dallas throwing as much as they're throwing. They're primarily a running game football team and grind it out, but yet they're throwing on 2nd down and short yardage.
And they have the pass situation at the moment. 3rd down and 6. Ball inside Eagle territory at the 48. Looking for Golden Richards, and he overthrows. Richards on the turn-in, picked up well by number 20 Outlaw and Bill Bradley, the free safety. And Roger had to put it over Richards' head.
I'll tell you, I'm very impressed, Frank, with Golden Richards. I think he's going to be a fine football player. He's a good-looking guy. He's a very tall guy, something like you know. I mean, he and you, I think, are the only guys I know that can look good in cheap clothes, Frank.
All right, we're looking at Marv Bateman.
What do you think he wears, Al? Gifford, I mean.
And deep for the Philadelphia Eagles. We have 3 potential receivers. Marion Reeves, 45. Bill Bradley's 28. And Charles Smith is also back there. Bateman going for the corner. Oh, and he may have caught it on the 1-yard line. Indeed he did.
Unbelievable. What a marvelous kick.
And he was doing that in practice. I watched him. He put maybe a half a dozen of them out inside the 5.
What was that statement he made, Gifford? Coach Landry wants me to kick shorter, but out.
And that was a little bit of both. That was 47 yards out of bounds at the 1-yard line by Marv Bateman.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I bet you Roman puts it in the air. He doesn't care where he is on the football field, much like Johnny Unitas.
And he will probably put it in the air quickly if indeed he does, Alex, because he is going to get a rush. It's an opportunity for linemen to get points. 1st and 10 from his own 1. Goes to Bulash, and Bulash is nailed. Maybe gets a yard. Number 75, Jethro Pugh, is there.
75 Pugh, 74 Lilly. Lilly, 14 years. Alex, when does a guy, when does the brilliance of strength and play give way to guile and experience?
When this varicose veins start hurting him, huh?
2nd down and 9. This is Poe James. Poe James spinning and twisting. He gets out over the 5 to the 7-yard line. Hit there by Pat Toomey.
Let's take a look at that front four. Against the run, the respective ends are 63 Larry Cole, 67 Pat Toomey, who is a future defector to the World Football League, 75 Jethro Pugh, who is likewise, and of course the incomparable Bob Lilly, 74. Gipper?
Third down and 4. The ball up to 7. Tough down for Gabriel. Roman with the crowd back there, and a flag flies. Remember, there's a flag down in the end zone.
There's a holding penalty, Frank.
93 yards, but I think it's probably going to come back.
It was definitely a holding penalty.
No question about it. The official was all over it. But it was exciting for the fans who shot off their Roman candles and now give vent to their vocal displeasure.
And
Mike McCormick.
That could have been a record for the year that was just erased. 93 yards for a touchdown. It's coming all the way back.
That guy, Giff, that guy was standing next to Mike McCormick, is as good an assistant coach as you'd want to have around. John Sandusky, long-term man with the Baltimore Colts. Gabriel's not happy about the state of affairs.
There it is. Holding, and the call goes against Gary Sizemore, the offensive right tackle. Sizemore, having problems with Larry Cole, was detected holding.
Well, Larry Cole beat him inside that time, Frank, and he had to do something, so he tried to snatch him up, and the referee was right there.
All right, third down and 7. 6:59 remaining in the first quarter. Gabriel going with the bomb intended for Zimmerman, but overthrown. Back there covering number 20, Mel Renfro. You know, that sets up an interesting situation because, Alex, Philadelphia will not be able to kick from a spread punt. They are going to be kicking from their own 3-yard line, and that means they're going to have to be extra careful, offering all kinds of possibilities for a punt return.
I'm really surprised also that the fact that Roman Gabriel is throwing so many bombs. I didn't figure him throwing so many tonight, and yet he's come out throwing the long ones. He usually is controlled using 6- and 7-yard pass patterns.
A lot of pressure for a free agent rookie from Westchester State College as he kicks from his own end zone. And he'll feel a lot of pressure. Deep are Harris and Richards. And he kicks a fine kick that Richards must fair catch at his own 38-yard line. A 33-yard punt. Couldn't ask for a whole lot more. You really want to avoid the run back.
Let's cut back to memory as the Dallas offensive unit comes back on the field. Roger Staubach hitting Drew Pearson, the free agent from Tulsa, on a touchdown play. Now let's look at this next play. Remember this one? Deep in his own territory. Third down, long yardage. Drew Pearson double covered by Eddie McMillan and Steve Priest, but unaccountably Steve Priest kept his hands at his sides. That's how Dallas beat Los Angeles.
And the pitch out on 1st and 10 goes to Robert Newhouse. Newhouse hit at the line of scrimmage, but squirms loose and dropped the ball, but had it been blown dead. Robert Newhouse, in his third year out of the University of Houston, filling in for Calvin Hill, who was shaken up in the opening minutes of the game. And now Newhouse is hurt. Newhouse is down.
Frank, we were talking about the Philadelphia defensive football team being inexperienced and not really playing an awful lot together. With the addition of Berge, what they're really trying to do now is to give Berge a lot of room to run. So what they're trying to do is get their defensive tackles to jam the middle so Berge can roam. And if they can do that, last week they weren't that successful. If they can do that, they can really stop the Dallas running game, and they're starting to do it now.
All right, Robert Newhouse obviously shaken up.
And I must say, in fairness to Bill Berge, who is a truly great football player, well, let's take another look at Newhouse getting hurt here, and then I'll resume with Berge. Wasn't that a face mask there, Alex?
Yeah, but that doesn't count, Howard. Not if you're a defensive ball player.
Berge couldn't get the kind of range that you talked about a moment ago, Alex, last week, because he got a knee cracked up in the early going of the game against St. Louis. That really delimited his mobility for the occasion, but he's fine tonight.
Absolutely is.
Number 66, Bill Berge.
He's one of the most intense ball players I've ever seen play. A man can be hurt, he can be coming off the field yelling, "I'm hurt, but where? Where?" You know, he's fascinating.
It seems to me you made a good point earlier when you talked about surprise at Dallas throwing so much, because they should run against this untested defensive Philadelphia line, especially with the rookie Mitch Sutton in there.
They're sure not testing them right now.
All right, replacing Robert Newhouse is number 21. He's a rookie, Doug Dennison. And he's initiated immediately and nailed by Berge. And he picks up about 4 yards, gets inside the 30. Doug Dennison, 6'1", 195 pounds. He's a rookie from Cutston State in Pennsylvania.
Okay, here's Berge right now. Now, as you see, the tackles have jammed up in the middle pretty good. Although the center takes a good look at him, Berge gets off the center and knocks down. Does a pretty good job in there that time. He's a good-looking guy. Should get some commercials, Howard.
Should.
3rd down and 3. The ball just at the 30-yard line. Staubach, he'll run, get to the 10. He has the first down. He's inside the 25 at the 27. Nailed there finally by Will Wynn and John Outlaw. Wynn 71, Outlaw 20.
Frank, I think Berge ran right past him that time. I don't think anyone touched him, but he just ran right past him. Let's see if we can get this. There's Berge starting to drop back for the pass, going back into his position, watching for the hook pass.
Staubach, who can really worry a defense. Just when you think you have him, he'll break loose. Instead of 3rd down and 9, all of a sudden you have a Cowboy 1st and 10. And that's the situation at the 24-yard line of the Eagles. Here comes Dennison again over the right side, and this time Dennison goes down after a gain of about 1. Berge again there along with Will Wynn.
Well, they're going to jam up the middle for Berge tonight. You can tell that. He's starting to roam real good. He reminds me so much of Butkus. He's the type of guy that can dominate a defense and really shore up that defense.
His acquisition cost the Eagles 2 first-round draft choices. The Eagles don't even have a first-round draft choice until, what is it, Giff? 78? Yeah, 75, 76, 77, 79. 79.
Well, he's a former New Yorker and he wants to play in the East.
2nd down and 9. Ball at the 23. No score, a little over 4 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Now here comes Walt Garrison, and Garrison finds a big hole, and he's down to the 15, just inside the 15, and hit there finally by Steve Zabel. Walt Garrison, the man who is always there when you need him, rides on as a professional bull rider, bulldogger, off-season on the rodeo.
Steve Zabel was a first-round draft choice the same year as his Oklahoma teammate, Steve Owens, who went with Detroit, of course. Owens was in the drafting room, and when queried by all of us in the room, he said, well, I'm happy that I was picked, but Zabel's a better play.
3rd down and 1. A little less than 1, as you can see. The stacked backfield for the Dallas Cowboys. That's Drew Pearson, the receiver, motioning to the left. Giving the call is Dennison. He has the first down, but a flag flies. Flag goes down, and it could be the Cowboys have taken too much time. That's the call. So it's going to be 3rd down and 6. Carmichael on the sideline says, let's get him, gang.
Carmichael, he must be 6'8", 6'9", isn't he?
6'8" out of Southern U.
You know, in 72, Carmichael caught 20 passes. Gabriel came last year. He caught 67. And that's what a good passer means to a good receiver, and this is a fine receiver. 3rd down and 6. Ball resting right at the 20-yard line. Staubach is going for Pearson. Pearson cannot hold on. Good coverage by John Outlaw.
There was a lot of contact back there at that particular time, but he hit him at the right time, and usually it's up to the discretion of the referee, and I think he made the right play. You know, you could have called it either way on that, but the timing is perfect by the defensive back on this particular play. There's the ball, and they're both of them going for the ball, so there's no problem there.
Outlaw and Lavender, 20 and 30 respectively. Again, as we look at Mike McCormick, are the respective cornerbacks for the Eagles, and presumably weaknesses in the Eagles' defense. Outlaw's a little fella, but his coverage then was excellent. Yep, the field goal attempt.
Mac Percival from 37 yards.
Boy, oh boy.
No good.
I'll tell you how that 10 yards has psyched out a lot of kickers this year.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
I just love it, Howard.
So, with 3:03 remaining in the first quarter, the game remains scoreless from Philadelphia. We'll be back. Mac Percival has just missed the 37-yard field goal for the Dallas Cowboys. The score is 0-0. 3:03 remaining in the first quarter. Frank Gifford along with Howard Cosell and Mungo.
And we're looking at Calvin Hill, number 35. I'll get to a report on his condition in a moment.
Eagles moving from their 20-yard line. This is Sullivan. Sullivan getting away from Leroy Jordan. Picking up 3 yards, moving out to the 23-yard line.
That's a hard defensive line to move out, I'll tell you. Calvin Hill, whom you saw walking around on the sidelines a moment ago on your screen, there he is again. It now develops, has a bruise under the big toe of the foot. And he's got a pad under there, and he may, judging by the way he's walking around, get back in.
2nd down and 7. Ball at the 23-yard line. Sullivan getting the call again over the right side, and Sullivan gets out over the 25 to the 26. It'll be 3rd down and 4.
A report, too, on Bobby Newhouse, number 44 of the Cowboys backfield, gentlemen. He has badly bruised ribs. They've put a rib pad around them, and whether or not he'll return has not yet been determined.
3rd down and 4, a short 4, if you will. A few moments ago, Roman Gabriel tried to run. The Cowboys stopped it. Let's see if he comes back with the pass. Gabriel with plenty of time, but good coverage prevents him from getting it away. And he's really nailed hard by number 50, D.D. Lewis, short of the 1st down. Not one of your speediest runners, Alex.
You know, we were talking earlier today about whether ball players talk to each other on the line of scrimmage, and you do. It depends on, what the conversation might be. If you're losing, you're griping and you're moaning, and you have a tendency once in a while to even curse out there, Howard. I never did it, but they tell me that it was done.
I'd be shocked if you had been one of those.
Merritt Kersey. Looking to Golden Richards. Kersey with a good high boot. And Mel Renfro, I don't believe he called for the fair catch. Mel hasn't been working back there. He just took the ball without the fair catch and was hit hard by Marion Reeves. Regional college football comes up this Saturday. ABC will bring you more NCAA college football from around the country. Texas will be meeting Texas Tech. That's going to be a big one down in the Southwest Conference. Washington State, the Pac-8, will take on Illinois. Last year's Atlantic Coast Conference runner-up Maryland will be hosting the Tar Heels of North Carolina. And it'll be Holy Cross meeting Harvard. Check your local listings for the game in your area. Robert Newhouse has come back into the game for the Cowboys. But this is Walt Garrison, and Garrison is nailed at the line of scrimmage. Hit there by Patton, 77, and Berge, 66.
Well, that's what they needed. They needed a middle linebacker, and they went out and got Berge, and I'm sure he's happy where he is, and he's doing one fine job tonight. I was kidding you a little bit about what happens on the line, but when you have a rookie next to you, I think once in a while you do tell him, look, kid, I think this time you better start to think about rushing the passer or watch that inside rush, and you do talk back and forth like that.
2nd down and 9. The ball is at the 37-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys. Clock ticking away here in the first quarter, no score. Newhouse with a big hole. 1st down and more. Newhouse inside the 40 of the Philadelphia Eagles. Taken out of bounds at the 39-yard line by Randy Logan.
Bruised ribs and all. He got back in there in a hurry, and it didn't impair his running ability a bit. You know, you mentioned our college football schedule, regionals this weekend, Frank. That Texas Tech game, even though it's early in the season, has enormous meaning in the wake of Arkansas's upset loss to the Cowboys of Oklahoma State 26-7 last weekend. And actually, the winner could actually be the team to go to the Cotton Bowl. Both teams very strong yet.
All right, 1st and 10 for Dallas. 23-yard gain by Newhouse. Cowback floods both. Oh, and it's picked off. Picked off by Jerry Patton, I believe. The pass intended for his tight end, Billy Joe Dupree. But Jerry Patton, dropping off the line of scrimmage, for whatever reason, I don't know, from defensive tackle, came up with the football.
Well, now the Eagles have field position. They've been waiting a long time for this with the quarter about to run out.
You know, the only thing I can think of, Frank, of a defensive tackle not rushing the passer is I think that he thought it was a screen to his side and reacted to the right side, and there was the ball.
Yeah,
I would have never done that, though.
He reacted beautifully because the Eagles have stopped the Cowboy drive. 1st and 10 from their own 41. Here comes Norm Bulash over the right side and hit there by a whole bunch of Cowboys. Toumé's there, Lily's there, Jordan is there as the gun sounds ending the first quarter.
There's no question that there was a blitz on. He tried to throw the ball, and he did think it was a screen and got out there, and that's the interception right there. I bet he's a very happy guy right now. He can't run with the darn, but who could when they're playing defensive tackle?
Well, I saw you pick off some.
Scoreless after the first quarter. We'll be back right after this. A very delighted Jerry Patton and Alex Karras. How many interceptions did you have in your career?
I had about 6, and I gained about 2 inches.
Quick-feeted Alex Karras. Everybody remembers him that way.
2nd down and 8. The ball is at the 44-yard line of the Philadelphia Eagles. First quarter, scoreless. On the draw play, it goes to Bulash, and Bulash finds a hole over the left side. Moves for 5 yards out to the 49-yard line. October the 13th, Madison Square Garden. Not a heavyweight fight, not a hockey game, not a basketball game, but it will be called the main event. It'll be Frank Sinatra live from Madison Square Garden. That's the real Blue Eyes, Howard.
That's the real Blue Eyes. Does it his way. The best there is at what he does for so many years, it's almost impossible to conjure with.
Live over ABC. 3rd down and 3. The ball at the 49. Cowboy went offsides and leap back, and Norm Bulash tries to turn the corner, just gets back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, let's look at those first quarter stats. You see that they favor Dallas, but in total yards, Philadelphia leads. It's in yards rushing that the edge goes to the Cowboys. They're equal in possession, really, 15 offensive plays against 16. So the Philadelphia defense, supposedly its weak spot, has been holding together, but the Dallas Cowboys have been containing the Philadelphia offense, which was negligible last week in the loss to St. Louis.
And here's Merritt Kersey, the punt for Philadelphia. And this time, Kersey has hit a beauty. Oh, and it takes a Philadelphia bounce, and will be down on the 2-yard line.
The exact reverse, the converse of the kick we saw executed by Bateman in the first quarter when they pinioned the Eagles on the Eagles' own 1-yard line at that very end of the gridiron. Now the Cowboys are on the 2. Not a pleasant situation for Dallas, Alex.
You know, with the artificial turf, the ball is going to bounce like that once in a while. They're taking funnier bounces than they used to in the old days, Frank.
Indeed, they do. And Alex, defensively, what does this mean to a defensive lineman? Now you've got this Dallas Cowboy team in a hole.
Well, you're definitely going to play the run. You're not going to take a chance. I don't think Staubach is the kind of guy that's going to take a chance on the pass.
And Roger begins from his own 2-yard line. Motions in wide receiver Pearson out of the backfield. Hands off to Garrison, who was really nailed. His progress was stopped in the playing field, and he was driven all the way back to the end zone.
Well, I'll tell you something. He's running into walls tonight. Philadelphia is up. They're playing at home. They got to win this game, and they're sky high. They love Mike McCormick. They want to win for him. They need this ball game, and kaboom, there he goes.
That was Berge to Alex again.
Right, Giffer.
Filling that 4-hole as only he can do it. And they're giving him a lot more protection, the defensive tackles, this week than they did last week. letting him roam. Second down and 10. Getting the call is Newhouse. Newhouse slipping tackles. Struggling and fighting out to the 4-yard line. Bill Berge again over there to make the capper.
Yeah, I like the help he got from number 30, Joe Lavender, cornerback, who incidentally is the only man in the NFL, gentlemen, who plays while wearing eyeglasses. What do you think of that, Gip?
Well, you can't see, you can't see. A lot of them do wear contacts. Some of them just uncomfortable with them.
Does he have them in the helmet or around the helmet?
Right under that face mask.
All right, it's third down and 7 for Roger Staubach. Staubach from his own end zone, going out to Drew Pearson. And 65,000 Eagle fans like what they see. Good job of coverage by Lavender. Staubach had to throw it away. Roger now 0 for 6. After a big weekend last week against Atlanta. 13 of 27, 252 yards. But tonight, he's 0 for 6. Now the pressure is on Marv Bateman. He'll be punting from his own end zone. That's his average thus far this evening. This one he will hurry to get away. And the fair catch will be called for by Bill Bradley at the 35-yard line. The Eagles in fine field position. 30-yard punt by Bateman. 11:53 remaining in the half. No score. We'll be back.
Well, right there in the graphic, you see an interesting comparison. Philadelphia, the young and hopefully growing team. Dallas, the experienced team that knows what to do and how to do it with 10 players with 10 or more years experience. Their problem, to ascertain exactly when they're getting too old to do the job and to be rebuilding in the background.
Philadelphia right now with a big break following the 30-yard punt by Marv Bateman. First and 10 from their own 35. Gabriel's looking for Carmichael. And he's going to go down by Bob Lilly. Bob Lilly, a 14-year veteran, an original Cowboy, the first player they ever picked in their draft.
With 11:45 to go in the second quarter, this much can be made by way of observation. Gabriel has not unraveled himself yet this season. He had a lot of shots at the very end of last week's game against St. Louis. The plain truth is, much as we love Gabe, he couldn't put his team in from inside the 10-yard line with 4 chances to do it. Tonight he is not throwing well and he is taking too long.
Second down and 18. The ball is at the 44-yard line. The Thunder and Lightning is in there for the Cowboys. Jones and Martin as Gabriel goes to Harold Carmichael. He's picked up there by number 20, Mel Renfro. It'll be third down and 18, and we'll tell you a little bit about this Thunder and Lightning. The Thunder is called Larry Coe and Pat Toomey. They're the starting defensive ends, but when there's a sure pass situation, Tom Landry sends in Ed Jones, his number 1 rookie, number 72, and Harvey Martin, number 79.
Now, here's Jones, and I don't like the way he stands. I'll tell you the reason. He leans over too much, and if he's going to rush a passer, why not come up a little bit so that he has that extra second to get off that ball when the ball's snapped? That's my only question mark.
Third down and 18. Uh-oh. And down goes Gabriel, hit there by Rodrigo Barnes. Rodrigo Barnes, blitzing from his right linebacker position, really nailed Gabriel.
You can't blame the Gabe for that, I'll tell you. I must say, Alex, after your talk about Too Tall Jones, let's look at this again. That was Barnes coming in on Gabe. It should be noted that neither Harvey Martin nor Too Tall Jones attended the University of Mars.
On a fourth down and 27 yards to go, Merritt Kersey comes in. The Eagles losing 27 yards as Gabriel now has also only connected 1 time. Both passes, 1 of 14 attempts between them. And Cliff Harris bobbles the ball into the end zone, but recovers and moves it out to the 11-yard line. A 51-yard punt by Kersey. 10:39 remaining in the first half, and still no score from Philadelphia.
Well, the sign says Roger scrambles, Roman gambles, and Howard rambles. Let me ramble about those two men. Tonight they've been paragons of inefficiency. Between the two of them, up to this point, they have completed 1 out of 13 passes.
First and 10 for Dallas. Newhouse and Garrison setbacks now for Roger Staubach. Newhouse gets 4 yards, moving out to the 14-yard line. This program is being brought to you as a special exclusive of ABC Sports. Right now, let's pause 5 seconds to allow our local stations to identify themselves. Robert Newhouse, hurt in the first quarter, as was Calvin Hill. Newhouse damaged some ribs. He's back in action. We have not seen Calvin Hill since he was hurt. Second down and 6. The ball at the 14. Garrison over the right side, and Garrison gets a couple of yards, moving out to the 17-yard line, hit there by Jerry Patton. The toe of a man who overcame a physical handicap at birth. Tom Dempsey holds the National Football League record, set a few years ago against our colleague in the Detroit Lions, 63 yards.
That's right. Alex didn't believe it.
Well, I could have blocked that one, but I figured the guy came out limping on the field. What was I supposed to do about that? I thought I'd let the guy kick the ball for crying out loud. He kicked it out of the stadium.
Indeed he did. Third down and 2. The ball at the 17-yard line. Staubach under tremendous rush by Patton. Gets it off and is complete out there to Drew Pearson. And that had to be a perfectly timed pass because I don't believe Staubach saw Pearson on his break as he moved to the sideline. Big Patton was in there with the rush, number 77. 11-yard gain, a first down.
Frank, I think in order for Staubach to be effective, he's going to have to run some more. We mentioned earlier in the first quarter that Staubach was throwing the ball on first down and second down with very little yardage. He's going to have to go back to his running game. He's going to have to keep the defense, guessing as to what he's going to do. And as long as the defense doesn't know if it's going to be a pass or a run, then he's going to loosen him up a little bit. And I think you'll see his completion average come up a little bit.
All right, he gets the first down with an 11-yard pickup to Pearson. First down at 10, the ball at the 29. Flag flies. Staubach going deep, and he had Pearson out of the open, but I believe it's going to be called back because Pearson was in motion. Pearson coming in motion, misread the count, started downfield, tried to catch himself, but he didn't. So a 45-yard pickup is going to be nullified by another error. Staubach having it explained to him. I'm quite sure that's going to be the call.
You're exactly right. That was an interesting battle between little Johnny Outlaw and Pearson. Pearson, watch it. Watch Pearson out-muscle him and out-maneuver him.
Well, but I'll tell you something. He was behind him in a good shape.
That's true, but Outlaw judged that pass and came in to pick it off, and Pearson was just too tall.
That will make it first and 15. The ball back at the 24-yard line. The two tight ends are now in for Dallas, Dupree and Coogan. Newhouse running away from his blockers and picking up yardage, getting very close to the first down, out to the 37-yard line. He will be short, however. Steve Zabel moved over to make the stop for Philadelphia. Boy, this little guy has shown some kind of guts, Alex. He was shaken up. I thought he was seriously injured, and he's back in the ball game and producing.
Well, I've been impressed with Newhouse. He's carried six times for 50 yards already tonight, and he's doing a good job. He's a good football player, and Kelvin Hill's great, but Newhouse is just as good as far as I'm concerned.
All right, it's second down and 3. Frank Gifford along with Howard Cosell. Alex Karras, no score. We're halfway through the second quarter from Philadelphia's Veterans Stadium. The Cowboys and the Eagles. Pearson motions to the right. Staubach going out with his little screen to Robert Newhouse. You saw the big tackle, Rayfield right out in front of it. That's what the attempt was, incomplete. So it'll be third down now and 3.
You know, sometimes, Frank, when you see the ball go astray like that, you say, well, the guy is really not throwing real well. I think that he saw the defensive back come up. He knew he was going to take a big loss. I think he caught the ball, so he deliberately threw it out of bounds, and it happens once in a while like that.
I think you're right, and sometimes the unpracticed eye will read something entirely different into it, and actually maybe save an interception or a loss. Rogers' situation now at 3rd down and 3. The ball up to 31. Newhouse gets the call. He'll get the first down. And the middleman, 5'10", 205 pounds, saw the opening, slithered through, stopped by Jerry Patton, but he gets the first down at the 41. So Saturday, ABC's Wide World of Sports will bring you an event you've enjoyed before, the always popular Harlem Globetrotters performing in London. And at the mic, the former Globetrotter himself, Wilt Chamberlain, also featured the 25th running of the famed Southern 500 stock car race. Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports. Golden Richards in motion. Walt Garrison gets the call, gets over the 40 and breaks the tackle. And he's out to the 48-yard line.
Now, that was a play that the defensive right end should have had. What happened was he made a commitment to the inside. He always has outside commitment, and he took a chance and went inside. The back is good. He's getting paid a lot of money. He saw that little commitment that he made, and so he took it to the outside. I think you'll see it here on this play. There he goes to he took his commitment to the inside.
Yep, you're talking about 64 Turkey Jones.
You know, Alex, I always thought you defensive linemen were a little jealous of those high-paid backs. That's why you beat them up all the time. 2nd down and 3. Newhouse. And Newhouse finds a big hole. He moves down to the 46-yard line. Another Cowboy first down.
He bolts through there. He accelerates at exactly the right moment. 64 Turkey Jones, who you said moved inside when he should have taken the outside a moment ago, came over here from Cleveland. The Eagles got him in exchange for Ben Hawkins, the wide receiver from Arizona State, a veteran who broke his leg a year ago and saw little action and was just feeling his way in training camp this year. Jones had some good service with the Browns as the pass rusher.
Dallas now beginning to grind it out. 1st and 10 from the 46. 46 of the Eagles. A little over 6 minutes remaining in the first half. Drawback. Drew Pearson. He has it at the 25-yard line. Drew Pearson and Outlaw, number 20, points to Lavender, number 30, and just to say he was your man. In any event, the completion is good for another Cowboy first down, 21 yards, down to the 25.
Okay, here comes Jones, 64, coming right around his tackle. He gets the Staubach that time, but the ball's been released. Watch the referee. He's saying, no. Don't you hurt that quarterback.
You never did.
Tom Landry, the only coach the Cowboys have ever had them in the playoffs for the last 8 years. Newhouse almost tripped up, but he gets away and he gets 3 yards down to the 21-yard line.
Frank, I think that's the power right now as far as I'm concerned with Dallas. They got Blaine Nye, they got John Nyland, they got a fine center. They're big, they're 260 pounds, and they pump that middle, and they blow everybody out of there. And I think Berge really has his hands full tonight. He's doing a good job, but I think right now they're starting to get to him a little.
Both those tackles for the Cowboys are 6'6" and 260 pounds, and they are very wary on a defense that actually, and we were checking it before the game, Alex, the defense is not as big as that offensive line, and that's a rarity in pro football. 2nd down and 7. The ball just short of the 21. The screen to Richards. Watch out. And he drops the ball. Who's got the ball?
Dallas.
76, John Nyland. John Nyland came up with Richards' fumble that advanced for about 3 or 4 yards after he dropped it. It'll be 1st and goal for Dallas.
4-6 left, 4-5, counting down the second quarter. Still no score in the ball game, but Dallas now with an authentic threat and a break on that fumble recovery by Johnny Nyland.
Johnny Nyland out of the University of Iowa, incidentally, Howard. He's the 2nd best football player that ever came out of there.
The best, of course, was the young man who left college because he was too fat, but his mother said, go back, take off weight, and become a man. That was Alex Carroll.
Dallas 1st and goal. They're on the 3-yard line of the Philadelphia Eagles. Here's Doug Dennison. And the young rookie gets his first score. Touchdown, Dallas.
And he worked to get in there, I'll tell you.
Tom Landry looking on as always, never terribly impressed with anything. But inside that man, there's a lot more happening than appears on the surface. Let's look again. Leading the interference is Garrison, number 32, and what a block he laid. Newhouse also with a block, and Dennison just making the rest of it on his own. Doug Dennison from Kutztown State College in Pennsylvania, signed as a free agent. Mac Percival makes it 7 for the Cowboys, nothing for the Philadelphia Eagles. A very happy Robert Newhouse with a fine block for Doug Dennison. We'll be back right after this message. 3 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the first half. The Dallas Cowboys just ground out 90 yards, scoring in 12 plays to lead the Philadelphia Eagles 7-0. Mac Percival to kick off, deep, number 27, Bo James, number 33, Randy Jackson. This is Randy Jackson at the 5-yard line. Jackson out over the 20 to the 22-yard line. 17-yard run by Randy Jackson.
Well, so far this game, what's plaguing the Philadelphia fans, and understandably so, is what plagued them a week ago. The Eagles, supposed to be an explosive offensive team, with almost no offensive at all. And with a quarterback like Gabriel, there's the guy who scored for Dallas, and receivers like Carmichael and Young, doesn't make sense.
Philadelphia moving from their own 21-yard line. Draw play goes to Bulash. He gets 3 yards out to the 24. NCAA Regional College Football comes up next Saturday. ABC will bring you several classics around the country. The Longhorns of Texas, which we talked about a moment ago, under head coach Darrell Royal, will be visiting Texas Tech. Washington State will take on Illinois. And Maryland goes up against North Carolina. And Holy Cross will be meeting Harvard in the Ivy League. Check your local listings for the game in your region. 2nd down and 8. Gabriel going to Sullivan over the middle. He'll be short of the first down as he's nailed hard by Leroy Jordan and Dave Edwards.
Now that's Gabriel's second completion of the game to Tom Sullivan, whom, as Frank noted earlier, caught 50 passes last year and gained over 960 yards. The Eagles are not supposed to be without a ground game either. Their offensive line is not bad, and runners like Bulash and Sullivan should give them a complementary ground game to their aerial attack. They haven't been able to get started.
3rd down and a long 2. The Eagles in the running formation, but it'll be tough. And twice now, Philadelphia, against that rugged Dallas defense, have gone with the run. This time it's very close. Bulash pounding and driving, but I don't believe he made the first down.
They've only made one first down thus far this game, Giffer. This measurement will be reasonably close, but I think you're right. I don't believe he made it. Now let's stretch it out, gentlemen. No, he did not make it. The length of a football and a half, perhaps. So the Eagles must punt again, and the fans registered their displeasure.
There's John Nyland, University of Iowa.
And we have the 2-minute warning. Some of the little lovelies here in Philadelphia. They do too have beer, Alex.
Well, that one girl looks exactly like my wife would like to look.
One of Philadelphia's lovelies just joined us. Mike Douglas in the booth. Giffer and I appeared on the show today. Giffer stole the show.
I don't think he'll like you putting it that way, though. All right, on 4th down, we have Merritt Kersey. He'll punt to Cliff Harris and Golden Richard. Richard, 83, Harris, 43. Kersey with a lot of time and not a very long kick. The fair catch called for by Richards at the 37-yard line. So Dallas, who scored the last time they had the ball in 12 plays, traveling 90 yards, takes over again. .153 remaining in the first half.
There he is, Mike Douglas. Can I have a quick mic for Mike? Can we have a lean over and talk in here, Mike? Let me take it out. You're going to Russia tomorrow, aren't you?
Going tomorrow night, yes.
Have a good trip. We'll talk to you more about it later.
Thank you.
Back to the Gipper in the game.
From their own 37, the Dallas Cowboys. Staubach going out to his tight end, Billy Joe Dupree. Complete out there for a gain of 7 out to the 42-yard line. Billy Joe Dupree. Well, we talked a lot about Charlie Young and the Philadelphia Eagles. They caught 55 last year, but, well, let's come back to another star in his own right.
Way to go, Gipper. Point I wanted to bring out is one of the shows you'll be doing over there is with little and lovely Olga Corbett, who became an international sensation on our Olympic coverage.
Looking forward to that, Howard. Can you give me any advice on questions?
No, but I think if I were you, I'd call Jim McKay before you leave. Back to the gift.
Second down and 3. The ball at the 43 of the Dallas Cowboys. Staubach is going up again. This time he goes to Garrison. And Garrison has the first down. He's out to the 48-yard line. Hit there by Zabel. Steve Zabel, number 89. Steve Zabel. He's coming off a season where he had Achilles surgery in his ankle.
That's very difficult to come off an Achilles. I haven't seen too many guys did it. Amici ended his career with it, and a lot of other great ones. Harlan Hill and with the Chicago Bears.
What ended your career, Alex?
Varicose veins and just old age.
Bob Hayes comes into the lineup, number 22, the former gold medal winner at Tokyo. He's at the top of your screen, and he can fly still. Going out to Pearson, and Pearson has another first down. He also kills the clock, which now shows 1:33. Oh, I might have been premature. Does he have the first down?
There was a real wobbler pass. Here comes Pearson doing what he does best. Cutting to the outside. It's a nice safe pass. Here comes a wobbler. You can read Pete Rozell's name on that ball. It's such a bad thrown ball, but he still catches it and gets knocked out of bounds.
Interesting, though, Alex. Did you see Pearson look over at Lavender to ascertain his position as the ball was on its way to him? Took his eye off the ball momentarily. Still made the catch easily, of course. Inscrutable Tom Landry.
First and 10. The ball is at the Eagles' 43-yard line. The Cowboys chipping away. They lead 7-0. Newhouse, and he pounds for 4 yards down to the 39-yard line, hit by Bill Berge. All right, the Cowboys now will use the timeout. Staubach moving over to talk to head coach Tom Landry, and Berge now moving to the sidelines to discuss strategy at his bench. Tom Landry, in the last 6 years, his teams have won at least 10 games or more. Incredible record. Live from Madison Square Garden, October the 13th. It's himself, Howard.
And now the end is near. Frank Sinatra, Old Blue Eyes is back. Main event from Madison Square Garden.
Would you sing that again?
I have no desire, Perm Charlie, to rupture my career, Frank. You take over.
With 1:28 remaining in the half, Staubach conferring with Tom Landry. Did you ever go to the sidelines, Alex, and talk it over with the coach? You were a captain, weren't you?
Yeah, but there was nothing we could talk about. We had 2 plays, and he said if neither one of them worked, beat the heck out of them.
In the early years of Joe Schmidt's coaching tenure with the Lions, he was a very close friend, of course, of Alex. He would call Alex in every day, say, how am I doing with the boys, seek Alex's advice. Then as Joe's confidence grew, so did the displeasure with which he viewed Karras grow.
All right, set to go. Second down and 6. 1:28 remaining in the half. The Cowboys leading 7-0. Mike McCormick looking on, just having instructed his defensive captain Bill Berge as to what he thinks the Cowboys might come with. 2 timeouts remaining for Dallas. And Staubach going deep to his tight end Fugit. Picked up there by Randy Logan, and good coverage it was. Rogers, 6 of his last 8 completions. After going 0 for 6.
excuse me, Frank. That was a good play. Good idea on the pass receiver. Now, he's going down the field. He's going to get good coverage all the way. There could have been very much of an interception here, but he actually jarred the defender away from the ball. That's what you're supposed to do when you think that there's going to be an interception. And he goes over there and he asks the referee about it, and of course he turns his back. There's an exciting man, Howard. I'd love to play for him. I'd have fallen asleep on him most of the time.
Well, a little more than a look, Alex. 3rd down and 7. Here goes the screen, and this is Newhouse. Good reaction by the Eagles defense, and Newhouse will be, I believe, short of the Cowboys' first down. The Cowboys screaming for a timeout.
It's going to be very close, Kipper. He fell forward. I had him about 1.5 yards back of the first down marker. Let's look at it again in slow motion, Alex.
Well, I think you're going to see Nyland. I think you're going to see Nyland, what we call slip blocking. And what he does is he gets down. Here comes the play. He lets him go, influences him out. Then he goes right out to that screen. He's influenced him to the outside. Then he comes right down on that screen and watch him do his job. Whoopee. Anytime you're doing a screen, you want that weak side tackle to go to the outside, not to give too much pressure to the inside.
And as you can see, Newhouse coming up just short of the first down. That's the situation at the moment. 1 minute and 11 seconds remaining in the first half. The Cowboys out in front, 7-0. Roger Staubach coming in with Tom Landry's play. And it'll be 4th down and a matter of inches.
You call that exactly right, Gip. The eyesight is extraordinary. Just short.
4th down, 1 timeout remaining. You know, you mentioned Landry, Alex. I not only played with him, I also played under him as a coach. He was both a player and a coach for the Giants. And the man actually has so much going on inside of him, and he's been criticized many times by our own colleague, Don Meredith, but almost affectionately in a way. He's meant a great deal to many players over the years, and he has a fantastic record. In other words, he's doing what he's supposed to do. Dennison. Oh, and did he make it?
This will be very close again. Will Wynn got in there in a hurry, came out in a hurry, and is gesticulating that the Cowboys did not make it. I don't know, Giff. What's your view of this one? Before they measure now.
I think it's going to be very close, Howard. In any event, there's only 1 timeout remaining, and the clock is stopped while they measure. No, they did not. Good defensive effort by the right side of that Eagles line. Jerry Patton and Joe Jones. And the Eagles, with 58 seconds, take over.
Here comes John Nyland again, who's an all-pro guard. He's popping right out, and he didn't influence that tackle. The tackle went right to the outside and did his job on that outside. And, of course, they didn't make that first down, and Nyland didn't do a good job on that play. He usually does, though.
58 seconds remaining in the first half. The Cowboys in front, 7-0. Roman Gabriel has all 3 of his timeouts, but he sends Bulash over the left side. Brother Tom Sullivan. Sullivan gets 7 yards, as the Cowboys obviously were taking pass. And some of the booing Philadelphia Eagle fans must have been taking pass. Well, it's rather obvious that Roman is not going to be taking any risk. He has 3 timeouts, but he's letting the clock tick out here in the first half. Goes with the screen, out to Norm Bulash. Bulash has the first down, he fumbled it, and I believe Dallas has it. Indeed they do. So trying to play safe. Didn't come up that way for Philadelphia. Dallas will have 19 seconds showing on the clock.
The fans of Philadelphia have never been notorious for tolerance.
The ball is at the 47-yard line of the Eagles. Dallas has the football. They have 1 timeout remaining. Staubach Pearson to the bottom of your screen. Golden Riches at the top. And the attempt went to Newhouse, overthrown. Cowboys got the only points in this game on a 90-yard drive that began on their own 10-yard line. Climaxed by Doug Dennison coming in from 4 yards out. Almost exclusively on the ground. 2 pass completions during that drive. Wide receivers now for Roger Staubach, who can be expected to put the ball in the air. Bob Hayes has come in. He's number 22, top of your screen. And Drew Pearson, number 88, bottom of your screen. Staubach in trouble, scrambling around and gets rid of the ball out there to Bob Hayes. Hayes has the first down. 6 seconds now showing remaining in the first half. And the moving of the goalpost to the back of the end zone has become quite a factor in pro football.
Be quite a kick for Mac Percival, I'll tell you.
And he trots onto the field. The attempt will be from, well, it'll be an attempt of about 47 yards.
Probably closer to 50, Giff. Of course, the regular Dallas kicker is out for the year, Tony Fritsch, and they acquired, the Cowboys acquired Percival from the Bears recently to compensate for the loss of their regular kicker.
And he was delighted to be here. He's from Texas. And he was sharing the duties up there with the Chicago Bears with Merrill Roeder. And he has the full load at the moment. The attempt will come from the 48-yard line. Greg Morton will do the holding. Action. Oh, it's blocked. Blocked. Oh, and the clock shows no time remaining as Bradley just gets back onto the field of play. So the Dallas Cowboys lead the Philadelphia Eagles 7-0. Tom Landry moving in with the Cowboys to regroup. Some great games around the NFL yesterday. We'll be back with some of those highlights in just a moment.
Well, we're back live at Veterans Stadium, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. A halftime score, and I must say we did not have an overwhelming amount of action. The Dallas Cowboys 7, the Philadelphia Eagles 0. As for the second game in a row, the Eagles are failing to show much in the way of offense. In the first half, though, in the second quarter, Dallas scored, the result of a 90-yard drive in 12 plays, 9 of which were on the ground, engineered by Roger the Dodger Staubach. 2 completed passes, 1 incomplete, and you're looking at Doug Dennison, number 21, rookie from Touchdown State, who has a sign here in his behalf as he moves in for the score, getting perhaps the last yard and a half on his own. Then just before the half ended, Mac Percival tried a field goal from way out. Would have been a 48-yard kick. Well, more than that, really. And Joe Jones, Turkey Jones, number 64, blocked it. So our score, Dallas 7 and Philadelphia 0. Halftime highlights have been brought to you by Mild as a Breeze White Owl. That's who. And you see the score at halftime, 7-0. Dallas over Philadelphia. We're live at Veterans Stadium in South Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And you see more of the signs that populate the stands all the way around the entire arena. And with us again at halftime is our new colleague, number 71 of the Detroit Lions, Alex Garris. And I must say, Alex, you should be happy with this jacket. It's closer to a fit.
No, it's not. It's even worse than it was last week. This is Roone Arledge's coat. It's a size 44 with 3-inch fleece, for crying out loud. I didn't know the man was deformed.
Arledge looks heavier to me than you do.
I'm enjoying this. This is quite a show, you know, and this is my second time, and it's really a freak circus. I think this is terrific. The way you incite this whole crowd is amazing.
Look at that. Send me to the World Football League, which is where we brought you from. How do you like that? Listen, Alex, getting back to the game. the perplexing thing, the continued absence of offense on the part of the Philadelphia Eagles. The failure virtually ever to throw to 86, Charlie Young, the superb tight end. How do you account for it?
Well, I was going to say that. They haven't thrown to Charlie Young all night, and what I thought they were going to do, or what Roman usually does, is he plays a controlled offensive pass game. He throws an 8-yarder, a 9-yarder, he gets down the field. He doesn't throw a lot of bombs. Tonight he's come out and he's thrown Carmichael 6 or 7 times way down the field. It's not the Roman Gabriel that I thought I'd seen it this evening. On the other hand, Staubach came out, and with second down and a few yards to go, he threw the ball too in the first quarter. So consequently, I think both quarterbacks wasn't doing what I thought they'd do. So consequently, you got a 7-0 score.
Staubach's efficiency materially improved
when they started running the ball, Howard. They started running the ball, then they set up the pass.
Okay, now look at that. World heavyweight. I don't want to fight you, Alex. Verbally? Yes, I'll match you in vocal truculence.
Vocal what?
Truculence.
It's so amazing.
Hey, look at Roman there on the monitor. He can't be happy with himself.
No, he doesn't have a good. They only had 2 first downs the whole first half, and that's not like Roman Gabriel. I'm sure he's very upset about the whole thing. 3 for 9 is not a good night for Gabriel.
Well, what do you think they're going to do this half?
Well, there's no question that they're going to have to go back to what they do best, and that's to throw the short passes. They're definitely a passing game. They like to pass the ball, but they like to keep it short, and I think they're going to have to do that. Charlie Young's got to catch some passes tonight, or else they're not going to be able to put any score on them.
Well, they're going to have to get the ball first, and they're going to have to stop Dallas to do that. Dallas, as I recollect it, will be receiving at the start of this half, Philadelphia kicking off. Under any circumstances, we're close to the kickoff.
The second half about ready to get underway. The Dallas Cowboys leading the Eagles 7-0. A jam-packed Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, over 65,000 fans on hand, as Tom Dempsey gets set to kick off the second half. The first half, the Cowboys dominated play, certainly in first downs, but they lead by only 7-0. Dempsey kicks deep. It'll be taken by Dennis Morgan, a rookie from Western Illinois. And Morgan is hit at the 12-yard line and gets out to the 24-yard line. 23-yard return. Offensively for the Dallas Cowboys, we'll anticipate, of course, Roger Staubach being in their quarterback. His setbacks, number 32, Walt Garrison, 44, Robert Newhouse. If you came in late, we'll tell you that Calvin Hill, the all-pro fullback for the Cowboys, apparently re-injured a toe that he hurt last week against Atlanta. He will not be back in action. The wide receivers are 88, Drew Pearson, and Golden Richardson's 83. And right now, they go with the 2 tight ends. Billy Joe Dupree, 89, Puget, 84. Newhouse. And Newhouse goes down as Bill Berg. He reads the play beautifully. Coming across, and the safety man, Randy Logan, came up quickly from his position.
There's no question about Berge taking the key on this particular play. The guard moved to his right, and so did Berge. Now watch Berge come right through. There he goes. He sees the play of the guard. He comes right out, knifes right through. Does a good job. And then there's a back that comes up and moves up really quick on this play too.
Logan was there, and Steve Zabel, the linebacker, was also there. A loss of 4 yards, all the way back to the 20-yard line. John Nyland checks the snap number with Roger Staubach. That's the left guard for the Cowboys. Pearson motioning towards you. The play fake by Staubach. He goes with the screen over to his tight end. And they go to Dupree, and that was spread beautifully. Bill Wynn, number 71, spread that screen to Dupree to perfection.
Well, we've only had a couple of plays from scrimmage, Alex, but Mike McCormick must have done something in that dressing room because the Eagles have come out all charged up.
Well, I certainly think there's a psychological lift, too, when they blocked that field goal. That could have been very easily 10-0, and they're still in the ball game now at 7-0.
Another loss of 5. It'll be 3rd down and 19. And this is when the Eagles will really be turning it on. Staubach puts Pearson out to the left. He's picked up there by Joe Lavender. His other wide receiver, Pearson, goes out to the right to be picked up by John Outlaw. Eagles in their prevent defense. 4 linebackers and 3 front men. Foul back, nevertheless under pressure. Eludes Berge, then he goes down at the 24, chased there by Jerry Patton. Far short of the first down, and the Cowboys will have to turn it over to what appears to be a fired-up Eagle team. Calvin Hill looking on from the sideline. Hurt his big toe, re-injured his big toe in the first quarter. He will not be back into action. Marv Bateman comes in for Dallas. The single safety for Philadelphia, Bill Bradley, and he can be dangerous. Led the league in punt returns in 1971. Flags fly as Bradley calls for the fair catch at his own 40. 36-yard punt. Again, a flag is down.
I think there's an illegal procedure against Dallas on that particular play. I think that's what they're calling right now.
I think you're right. Mr. Bateman will... Well, they're going to accept it. They're going to decline the penalty and take the football.
All right. So Philadelphia will take over. First and 10. They'll move from their own 40-yard line.
Newhouse apparently has injured something else now. He's getting taped up on it's the left leg. He's getting taped up, shaking his head, saying, "Man, I got to get back in there."
Would you have declined that penalty, Alex? Answer it later. We're back to the action.
All right, Roman Gabriel back at quarterback. Number 5 had his problems in the first half. The setbacks are 25. Sullivan, Boulash, 36. This is Sullivan, and he runs right into the arms of big Bob Lilly. He maybe gets a yard. Wide receivers for Philadelphia, Don Zimmerman, number 80. Carmichael, 17, their tight end, Charlie Young.
There's one thing really you don't do against Bob Lilly, and that's not to block him. Nobody blocks Bob Lilly. He moves laterally as good as anyone does. I think there's an effort to block him, but he's moving right down the line. It's against Wayne Key, and he just knocks him right down. Knocks the ball carrier right down. Lilly's great laterally.
Second down and 9.
There's a dog right there. That was a dog.
Cornell Green on the safety blitz. Cornell Green, the 13-year veteran. And we were talking about experience, Alex and Howard, earlier in the game. Interesting to me that Dallas, in their secondary of Waters, Green, Harris, and Renfro, and their linebackers, they have 56 years of experience. In contrast to the Eagles secondary, the same 7 players who have 26 years of experience.
Now they put Too Tall Jones in the defense to rush the passer. Let's see what kind of a job he does on this one.
And Harvey Martin is in there. Too Tall Jones is 72. He will be at the top of your screen. Martin is 79. The screen pass goes to Boulash. And Cliff Harris nails Boulash after a gain of 3.
And I mean, he nailed it. I still would not have declined that penalty and taken the football, Alex, to get back to my earlier question leading up to that whole sequence of downs. And Gabe is obviously upset with himself and I guess with the boos of the fans.
Well, he still had the ball in pretty good position on the 40. A lot of things could have happened if had they kicked the ball over again. I think I would have declined that penalty and taken it on the 40.
In any event, we see Merritt Kersey, the rookie from Westchester State, doing the punting for Philadelphia. And not a good kick. And is marked out of bounds at the 34-yard line. Dallas will take over. 10:25 remaining in the third quarter. Dallas out in front of the Eagles, 7-0. We'll be back in Philadelphia after this.
Look at those halftime statistics, folks, as a vivid evidence of Philadelphia's offensive futility. 27 yards gained passing, only 47 rushing, and that's reflected in the first down figures, only 2 first downs. So clearly, Dallas has been dominant, though not overwhelmingly so. They've had their own deficiencies tonight. It's still a ball game.
And Philadelphia, with a weak punting game, again has given Dallas good field position. They move now from their own 34-yard line. The 2 tight ends, Fugit and Dupree are there. This is Newhouse, and he slips and goes down. And Newhouse is not 100%. We told you Calvin Hill is out. Newhouse was hurt. And he came back into play.
Look at that fella's nose, Alex. Did that ever happen to you? Picard.
Well, you know, he has that darn face mask wide open up there in the middle. He should have a nose like that once in a while. I had the big rim around it. I couldn't get hit in the nose.
Never got damaged at all, did you, through all the years?
Absolutely not. I stayed away from everybody.
Second down now and 12. A loss of 2. The ball at the 32 of the Dallas Cowboys. 9:46 remaining in the third quarter. Flags flying all over the place. The pass goes out to William Houston, who hits the ball out to the 44-yard line, but again, flags are down. It was a gain of 13.
3 times Staubach has successfully used that precise pass pattern tonight, Alex.
Well, it's a safe pass pattern. If the receiver doesn't catch it, it's going to go out of bounds. It's what we like to consider a very safe way of throwing the football.
Roger the Dodger. He's written a new book, by the way, Giff, together with a couple of other gentlemen, published by Word. It's called Staubach, First Down, Lifetime to Go.
If he writes like he plays, it'll be worthwhile. Illegal procedure against Dallas. That makes it second down and 17. Pearson comes out on the pass situation to the bottom of your screen. Roger heading it off to Drew Pearson, but he can't hold on to it. Good coverage by Philadelphia. Roger again under pressure. And Alex, this is one of the fine offensive lines in football. I think anyone will admit that, and yet it's not a great defensive line of Philadelphia. It's putting the pressure on.
They're playing stubbornly, and that was a dangerous ball to throw because 56, Dean Halverson, a former Ram who surprised the Eagles with his play this year. There's the inscrutable one. Not so inscrutable that time. Little show of anger. Halverson almost picked it off, and he'd have had clear sailing.
Third down and 17.
I've noticed Staubach doesn't want to run the ball this year, Howard.
Back, and he gets it out there to Pearson, who has the first down, and he threw that in brilliantly. Staubach going back, slipped, and Pearson found that empty gap out there in the Eagles defense, and the Cowboys have a first down. They're inside the Eagle territory at the 48.
You know, it's tough when you're playing defense and you're going into the last half and you play, as good as you can play, and you get no offense at all. Defensive ball players get a little upset about it. Once in a while, they'll run over the quarterback and say, how much is a touchdown? They figure maybe they don't know anymore. In our case, our quarterback used to yell out, 5 points?
So Staubach started out 0 for 6. He's now 10 of 20 for 113 yards. Newhouse. And Patton holds on to Newhouse after he gains 2, down to the 46. Robert Newhouse out of the University of Houston. Gained almost 3,000 yards there, scoring 19 touchdowns. Filled in last year behind Calvin Hill when he was injured last year. Got a lot of experience as a rookie, and has paid off. Because Calvin Hill, as Howard mentioned, will be one of those 6 members of this Dallas team that will be moving on to the WFL in the future. Second down and 8. And Garrison this time picks up a couple of yards as Philadelphia toughens up. Gary Patton in there to make the stop. Actually, there were 8 members originally of this Cowboy unit that signed with the WFL. 2 of them were traded, Otto Stowe and Mike Montgomery.
Exactly right. You talk about toughening up. We've got a team next Monday night that's really toughened up. The Denver Broncos of Johnny Ralston, with an awful lot of talent. Charlie Johnson will be back in action. Shoulder injured yesterday, but he'll be back against the Redskins.
From the nation's capital next Monday night. But right now, the Cowboys look over a third down and 7 at the 45-yard line of the Philadelphia Eagles. They have a slim lead of 7-0. Garrison open in the flat, and Roger dumps it off. Garrison trying for the first down, and he's very close to it. Tackled finally by Steve Zabel and number 20, John Outlaw. Well, let's see if they allow him that stretch. Garrison, he never gives up. He's not going to be the big play for you He's not going to be the big play man for you, but he just stays in there all the time, man. It never seems to be hurt. And this time he battles for the first down. This program is being brought to you as a special exclusive of ABC Sports. Right now, let's pause 5 seconds to allow our local stations to identify themselves.
Well, there, ladies and gentlemen, is Too Tall Jones. 12'8", 8,621 pounds, and breathes fire.
What did they say last week? He had 3 sacks, he blocked 2 passes, and he had 5 scares. Incredible game as a rookie in his first game against Atlanta. Dallas first and 10. They're on the 39-yard line of Philadelphia. Dominating in possession, if not the scoreboard. However, they lead 7-0. Newhouse nailed right at the line of scrimmage. Zabel and Patton is playing a fine football game. Gary Patton, the defensive right tackle.
He is. He's been in a lot of plays tonight. This is a critical series, I think, for the Eagles. They must hold to stay in this ball game, Alex. Dallas has been chewing up the clock the whole quarter. We have about 6 minutes and 10 seconds left to go in the third quarter.
And you know, so far Dallas has not been scored on. They were scoreless. No one's been scoring on them last week, and of course this week Atlanta didn't do it. Maybe the Eagles won't be able to do it.
Second down, a little more than a yard for Dallas. Roger with the screen. He goes out to Drew Pearson. Neely, the big tackle, is out in front, as was Nyland. Pearson coughs up the football, but it goes out of bounds. A gain of 8. It's going to be third down and 2. Big, swift offensive lineman for the Cowboys. That time you saw Ralph Neely, the 10-year veteran, at 260 pounds, moving out in front of that play. Important down now for the Cowboys. And the 2 tight ends are back in the game. Billy Joe Dupree, number 89, James Duguid, number 84. Ordinarily, you would anticipate the run. Getting the call is Garrison, and Garrison is close to another first down.
Did you see that pace of Picard's a moment ago, Alex?
There's no mistaking. He has a deviated septum.
Just a little scratch.
That's all.
That's all.
That comes from a man who was sent to the hospital by Chuck Bednarik and regards anything less than that as only a minor injury.
That was a little more than a scratch. That smarted a great deal. All right, and just that much are they short. The Dallas Cowboys will have a fourth down. Frank Gifford along with Howard Cosell and Alex Karras. 5 minutes and 31 seconds remain in the third quarter from Philadelphia. The Cowboys and the Eagles. The Cowboys lead 7-0.
Well, you know, the Cowboys are doing what I thought they were going to do. They came out the second half. They start to run the football, and that's what they do best, and that's exactly how they're getting down the field right now.
Interesting, too. A year ago, you would have screamed the field goal unit on the team. However, you do not now. Cowboys on fourth down and inches will go for it. Staubach with the rollout and was almost nailed. He was nailed. Getting in there quickly was Willie Cullers, the rookie from Kansas State. Willie Cullers was not expected to play, and he maybe has made the play of the night for Philadelphia.
Well, let's get a look at this flag situation. Willie Cullers has been the most impressive rookie in the Eagles camp.
And let's see what the call is. With the intentional grounding, illegal forward pass, and with that goes Lawson down. Philadelphia takes over. But again, it was Willie Cullers who got in there and put that pressure on. And Philadelphia, who seemed to be fired up earlier in this second half, has a great opportunity. They move from their own 43. Gabriel going to Zimmerman. Picked off. Charlie Waters picks it off. There's a firecracker. Goes off in our booth. I hope it was. Charlie Waters intercepts for Dallas. Returns it to the 30-yard line.
I don't know who threw that thing in this booth. If anybody did. But it is not and evidence of civilized procedure. You all right, Alex?
Well, let me get my head out of the wall right here, and I'll be okay. Wow. I just leaped 14 feet in the air.
I know you did. So did Frank. So did I.
1st and 10 for Dallas. They're at the 24-yard line. Charlie Waters with the key interception, and Philadelphia unable to get any kind of offensive moving. Newhouse gets a couple of yards down to the 21.
That was Gabe's most dismal moment. He lobbed that pass. You know that, Alex?
He's not throwing the ball with authority tonight. I was surprised at what Staubach did with the 4th down and a half a yard, coming out and trying to throw the ball. I couldn't understand that at all. I thought they had the eye and had that lead block in there, and then let the fullback pick up that half a yard.
Bill Houston, number 86, is in for Drew Pearson, a wide receiver for Dallas, on 2nd down and 7. Rogers flooding his backs, and he gets in trouble as Patton gets his hands on him, and he cannot get the pass off to Billy Joe Dupree, at least where he could catch it. But Jerry Patton this time was pressuring Staubach.
Well, I'm surprised, I shouldn't say surprised because it's a young defensive line that Philadelphia has, but they're putting pressure on Staubach tonight. There's no question about it, and I think that McCormick has really gotten these guys playing football.
All right, look at Patton now. That's John Nyland, the all-pro guard for Dallas that he's beating. And it just threw Staubach's timing off enough that he could not get the ball to Dupree. 3rd down now at 7. The 2 wide receivers are back in now, Golden Richards and Drew Pearson. Going for Pearson, complete. 1st down, right on target for Roger Staubach. Joe Lavender was covering, and he wasn't covering that poorly. It's just a difficult pass to cover when the receiver and the quarterback are in sync. Let's look again, and again Staubach with that perfect timing, just almost impossible to cover. Man for man, when all the timing comes together. Pearson now, 6 receptions, 87 yards. After the first week, he was tied for the lead. He caught 5 against Atlanta. He should be well up there again after this week, or after tonight. On the 10-yard line, here comes Newhouse. Newhouse pulling his little way down to the 7-yard line. Gain of 3, it'll be 2nd down and 7. 3:36 remaining in the 3rd quarter. The Eagles, who lost their opener to St. Louis, against the Cowboys, who won their opener against Atlanta. Cowboys out in front, 7-0. Newhouse again, goodbye, but a flag flies. Oh, and did he blow through there? But again, a flag is down. And the Eagles seem to be indicating that it's going to go against Dallas. No, offside. Philadelphia holding against Dallas, offsetting. And Jerry Patton seems to be shaken up. Number 77. We've had a fine football game thus far for the Eagles. And he'll get some relief as Mitch Sutton comes in, number 79.
Mike McCormick is apparently limbering up Johnny Reeves, the youngster from the University of Florida. And yet, he knows that Gabriel is his key guy for the year. It's a difficult time for McCormick.
On 2nd down and 7. Cowboys come right back with the same play. They scored on, but was called back. This time they get about 3 yards out of it. They're inside the 5. They'll probably mark it at about the 3.5. Bill Dunston was there to make the stop with Philadelphia with a lot of help from his friends. John Reeves came up a couple of years ago. Had a big shot in 72. just couldn't quite pull it all together when Mike McCormick came to the Eagles. He said, I want the number 1 quarterback, the big man that can do it all for me. So Reeves went to the bench. Gabriel took over. But you'll see, Reeves may be coming back into the game when Philadelphia gets the ball. Cowboys 1 timeout. We'll be back in Philadelphia after this. Staubach has just talked to head coach Tom Landry. Coming back out on the field, the Cowboys have a 3rd down and a 3. They could possibly make a 1st down at the 1-foot mark. But of course, they're more concerned with getting in. Craig Morton, who will be moving on to the WFL, signed with Houston. We understand that Houston now will be operating in Shreveport. Stacked backfield. To Dennison, and Dennison pounds and fumbles. Oh, goodbye. Oh, look at this. A foot race with Staubach. He's going to go all the way on it. Can you believe that? Oh, Joe Lavender, 97 yards. Oh, Joe Lavender.
Football. It never fails, Frank.
Unbelievable. Boy, if that doesn't spark things up.
That's Philadelphia's first touchdown of the year, and they got it on defense.
That's going to be a record. That's 97 yards.
How about that? Joe Lavender being congratulated. Dennison, the rookie from Goodstown State, Pennsylvania, gave it all he had, running out of control, trying to get in there for his 2nd touchdown of the night, coughed it up, and Lavender picked it up, outran Staubach for 97 yards.
His glasses stood him in good stead. He saw the football all right.
Tom Dempsey will attempt to tie it up, and indeed he does. Take a look at that again, and you'll see Dennison, who really running with abandon for the goal line and is really nailed. We'll try and pick out exactly the man it was and give him the tough lick, and I guess you'd have to say it's Bill Berge. Now look at the scramble. And you better believe he has speed because Roger Staubach isn't slow. He had a good angle, and yet Lavender used every inch of the playing field, getting to the sidelines and just turn it on. And what a thrill for the 2nd-year man from San Diego State.
Look at his glasses, Jeff.
Well, his nickname is the Birdman. And he has got to be one thrilled youngster tonight. Wowie.
Well, I said that twice
$2:16
before.
remaining in the 3rd quarter, and it's all tied up.
Well, now you see what you're part of, Alex Karras. Every week, something goes crazy. Zany.
I'll tell you one thing. Someone must be talking to both these teams before we go on with them. I'll tell you that.
Tom Dempsey to kick off. This will be... Well, Strayhorn is battling with Dennis Morgan. And it was, you take it, no, you take it. And as it turns out, Dallas will have to begin in the hole at the 10-yard line. And if you're wondering about Lavender possibly having set a record, Alex mentioned it, and the record was set by Jack Tatum against Green Bay in 72, Alex, 104 yards.
That's right, but let's look at this again, Alex.
This is you get a cat, no, I'll get a cat. No, you get a cat.
Strayhorn finally falls on it, but a 97-yard fumble return can upset a lot of things.
You think the Eagles are sky high now, Frank?
Oh, you better believe. Staubach, and he hands off to Walt Garrison, and Garrison pulls Eagle tacklers with him over the 15 to the 17.
As Dallas is now determined to attack, and make up for it. Let's have another look at that play that resulted in the Philadelphia touchdown. Here we go again.
Well, he's got all the blockers out in front of him. Dennison does a good job. He cuts in. He's fighting for everything he got. Berge really unloads on him.
Yep, that's what did it.
And there it goes.
Good hands by Lavender on that play.
Second down and 3. Dallas trying to pull it back together again. They hand off to Garrison, and Garrison will lose a couple. Bill Johnston, number 61, moving across to make the stop. Landry.
Giff mentioned that now official record of 104 yards on a fumble return by Tatum. If you remember that play, Giff, the officials made a mistake, but it was allowed to go through, and it's a new official record. Harold Carmichael, number 17, waiting to get into action.
Big down for the Dallas Cowboys. Third down, they'll pull it along too. The ball resting just short of the 19-yard line, their own 19. And they will not get the first down. Newhouse tripped up by Will Wynn and then nailed by Bill Berge.
Well, we got a football game with 35 seconds left and counting down in the third quarter. We're at 7-7. Maybe the Eagles don't deserve it. The Cowboys were pushing them all over the field. But in the clutch, at the goal line, the rookie who scored the earlier touchdown fumbled. Lavender recovered, went 97 yards. And that was it. And Bill Berge, 66, whom you sing on that play, is having himself some night tonight.
Marv Bateman, the punt for Dallas. The single safety for Philadelphia, dangerous one, Bill Bradley. Bateman nails it. Bradley at his own 45. Whoa, and boy, does he go down. Getting down there quickly was Mark Washington, number 46 for Dallas. 7-7, and that is the end of the third quarter. We'll be back in Philadelphia right after this. You're watching another exclusive of ABC Sports, and that's the end of the third quarter with the score Dallas 7, Philadelphia 7. We'll return after this word from our local station. Back at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, a few moments ago, you saw Dallas punt to Philadelphia. A fair catch was called for by Bill Bradley. However, as the third quarter ended, Dallas was detected with ineligible receivers downfield, so they will punt again. Marv Bateman will punt to Bill Bradley. Bradley standing just at midfield with a fine opportunity to put Philadelphia in good field position. And even better than he anticipated, as it goes off the foot of Marv Bateman. And it will be marked at the 38-yard line. The game tied at 7 apiece.
And Mike McCormick now forgets all about John Reeves, the youngster from Florida. He plays it safe, Alex. He goes back with the veteran Gabriel, as bad a night as Roman has been having.
Well, he's got to go with the experience now, and Gabriel can get him in.
All right, the two setbacks are Sullivan, 25, and Poe James, known as number 27. He has replaced Boulash. This is Sullivan. Turning the corner, gets the first down. He gets down to the 25, inside the 25, before he's dragged down by his jersey by Leroy Jordan.
The best ground gain all night by the Philadelphia Eagles. As we look at it again, and in the third quarter, Philadelphia had the ball for 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Only 4 plays. Look at Sullivan moving ahead. Jerry Sizemore, the number 1 draft choice of a year ago, got in a good block there, number 76. They had the ball 4 plays in the third quarter, and they tied the score.
First and 10 at the 25-yard line of Dallas. Sullivan gets the call again, and this time he coughs it up, but have they ruled it dead? Yes, they have. Oh, and how about Carmichael taking it out of the hands of Cornell Green? All for nothing, of course, because the ball had been ruled dead where Sullivan made contact with the ground. 8-yard pickup. 21 quick yards by Sullivan in the last 2 plays. Watch this now. Carmichael will come back. He thinks that Cornell Green maybe had recovered. Second down. Call it a long 2. The ball at the 17 or the 18. Following again, rather Poe James this time trying the middle, running into Bob Lilly, Jordan, and Jethro Pugh.
We're going to show you Joe Lavender now, the guy who just went 97 yards. There he is. There's his glasses. Look at his eyes popping out there. I've never seen a guy play with glasses on before. I think he can get away with it because he plays really in the backfield. He doesn't make a lot of contact. If he played up in the middle of the line, he'd get him cracked every other play.
A most happy fella.
97 yards. He went with the Cowboys fumble to tie it up just a few moments ago. Third down, an important situation for Philadelphia at the moment. They tried to run on this situation on 3 different occasions. They try again, they fail again. 3 times now, Philadelphia has been turned back on the third and a long 2 situation trying to run it. Dallas, tough against the run. Now it's going to be 4th down. And Tom Dempsey comes out onto the field. A big moment for Tom Dempsey, who kicked one from 44 yards last week.
There's no question that these teams hate each other. Now watch Charlie Smith get a nice little pop. Number 85, watch him give a little pop. Left of your screen. Watch it now. Wacko! Let's get it one more time. I love this. This is football, folks. Wacko.
39 yards out, Tom Dempsey, or rather 34 yards out. Dempsey will attempt to untie this football game. And Dempsey knew before anyone that he had made it. Philadelphia moves out in front of Dallas 10-7. Tom Dempsey, the holder of the NFL record for the longest field goal at 63 yards, is over to be congratulated by head coach Mike McCormick.
It's incredible. The Eagles are ahead with no offense at all. Look at Dempsey there after the kick. They were minus 3 yards for the third quarter.
We'll be back right after this. Tom Dempsey, who just hit from 34 yards out to put the Eagles ahead 10-7. As Howard pointed out, the Eagles' big offense has been perfecting of the fumble return because they were minus 3 yards in the third quarter. But they lead 10-7. Dempsey sets the kick to Dennis Morgan and Les Strayhorn. This will be Dennis Morgan. And it was Dempsey that made the stop. Otherwise, Morgan might have gone all the way. Tom Dempsey.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to show you something, and this is why they call this kickoff team the Suicide Squad. They're coming right down. Watch 52, Riley. There goes one. Goodbye. There's a 1.5 kip.
What was that?
1.5 kip. Or is it a tuck?
Dallas takes over. They'll move from their own 43-yard line. They've had all the offense, but they trail on the scoreboard. Golden Richards, very close to the first down, right in front of his own bench. Joe Lavender covering Richards. Game of 9. Here comes the messenger man, Gene Fugate, with the play from head coach Tom Landry. 11:39 remaining in the game from Philadelphia. The temperature, the beginning of the evening, 55 degrees. It has now dropped into the middle 40s. Second down, call it less than a yard. Play fake by Staubach. Complete to Drew Pearson. Pearson has it at the 35, another Dallas first down. Covered there by John Outlaw and dropped by Outlaw.
Here comes a match between Outlaw and Pearson, and every time they seem to need a big down, they go to Pearson. Outlaw does a pretty good job. He backs up. He's supposed to do exactly that. He beat him a little bit to the inside on that. Pearson goes up a nice catch, and here comes Outlaw on it. It's a very pretty catch, Howard.
Outlaw can't cover him one-on-one. Not only does Pearson outmove him, but he's too big for him.
First and 10 for Dallas. They're on the 33-yard line of Philadelphia. Newhouse getting a real fine block from Garrison. The lead back through, and Newhouse has another Dallas first down. What if we could get a look at that again? You'll see why Garrison is so valuable in that backfield. Now watch him.
All right.
Leading it right through the hole.
And watch Newhouse.
Look at that block.
Yep, and this is what I mean about a fast Don Nottingham. He's had a big night tonight, Robert, with those damaged ribs.
Newhouse all the way down to the 18-yard line. 20 carries, 88 yards on the night. Oh, the crowd has quieted somewhat as they were yelling a moment ago. Staubach goes to the air looking for Pearson, and this time fine coverage by Outlaw. Oh, he did a fine job on it.
You know, that is, Alex, Mr. Dempsey.
63 yards. I ran all the way down when he kicked that one, and I lit a match. I thought he had helium in that ball, for crying out loud.
You know, we kind of overlooked what a super play he made in stopping Dennis Morgan on that kickoff. Dennis Morgan could have gone for a touchdown, and Tom Dempsey moved over there and made the stop. Second down and 10. Ball at the 18. Here comes Newhouse, bouncing through and finally going down in the arms of Berge. Boy, he is a little fire plug. He really scoops around. It's kind of hard for those linebackers to see, I think, circulating around there behind the offensive line and the defensive linemen.
Well, Blaine Nye and John Nylander do a good job right now in the middle.
When you look at that graphic, the Cowboys 314 yards, the Eagles 93. And the Eagles leading 10-7. 63 plays for Dallas, 34 for Philadelphia.
Third and 4, the ball's at the 12.
You can understand Landry not looking happy.
Staubach trickles it off to Garrison. Very close to the first down. It'll depend on where they mark it. Steve Zabel was right there. Actually, Staubach was trying to go to Pearson. He was again covered well by Outlaw. And it will be short of the first down, and out comes the field goal unit.
Well, they got a half a yard to go. Howard,
Landry is doing the right thing. Put the points on the board. You got 8 minutes and 50 seconds left. Plenty of time. Dallas has dominated the game offensively all night. Offensively, Philadelphia has done nothing. Dallas can get the ball back and go on to victory. Tie it up now, Alex.
I agree with you.
Well, Landry will be glad to hear that. And we all agree. Good from the 26-yard line, from 26 yards out. And it is tied up, 10 apiece. And we'll be back in Philadelphia right after this message. 8 minutes and 34 seconds remaining in the game for Philadelphia. It's tied at 10 apiece. Keep in mind, if it remains tied, we'll go into a sudden death period. Mac Percival set to kick off for Dallas. He'll be kicking to Bo James, 27, 33, Randy Jackson. And this will be Bo James at his 6th, and he bobbles the ball. And he comes up with it, and down he goes at the 17-yard line. Again, Mark Washington getting down there quickly to make the stop. Mark Washington, dangerous on the special team.
Well, Frank mentioned the temperatures have fallen down into the 40s. What was it John Keith said, Frank? Autumn, I see the kid sitting careless on the greenery floor.
You know, he could have. First and 10 for the Eagles from their own 17. Tom Sullivan, in the middle, gets about 3 yards out to the 20. Dallas led early in the game. Doug Jensen went in. Dennison went in for 4 yards out to make it 7-0 Dallas. And Joe Lavender tied it all up. In the third quarter, he went 97 yards with a Doug Dennison fumble. Philadelphia had a 34-yard field goal, and Percival has just kicked one from 26 yards out. Second down and 7. Ball right at the 20. Gabriel has Poe James.
Oh, back! Look at that.
Get up, Poe. Somebody blew something. 34-yard gain. Had he been able to hit him in stride, there would have been no Cowboy close to Poe James. You'll see Poe James coming out of the backfield. He's at the bottom of your screen, and obviously somebody made an error. Whether it was D.D. Lewis, a linebacker, we don't know.
Frank, we were discussing about center field. When that guy goes, when the safety goes away from that center field, they like to hit the middle, and that's what they did with Poe James. They had an awful lot of time to throw the ball. When you get a back that goes that far down the field, you're not getting any rush.
Well, the Eagles again in fine field position. And Poe James picks up 6 more yards. He's down to the 40. It'll be 2nd down and 3.
If Gabe had thrown that ball a foot shorter, it was touchdown.
6:46 and the clock moving here in Philadelphia. Frank Gifford along with Howard Cosell and Alex Karras. Zimmerman wide to the right for Gabriel. Hussein working under Guy Morris at center. Here's Tom Sullivan off the right side. He'll be short of the first down. He'll get 2 yards down to the 38. Hit there by Cornell Green.
They're about 2 short here, Giff. What do? Go on the ground for it or put it in the air?
With the success they've had in this situation, you almost have to go up in the air.
You know, I think
They tried it over and over, Alex, and have had no success at all.
You know, also, I think they must really be jamming up Young. That linebacker must be doing a good job. He hasn't even been getting out of the line of scrimmage,
Hasn't
Howard.
been in the game.
They have converted 1 time in 10 attempts on 3rd down. And this is a critical one. Gabriel missed the handoff, and it's his best 3rd down play of the night.
I have seen it all. A busted play. Roman, who runs 1 foot every 10 seconds, goes up the middle. 1st down.
Clock ticking away. Tied up at 10 apiece. There's the missed handoff.
You couldn't get it to him.
Either that or he didn't want it. 1st and 10 for Philadelphia. They're at the 32-yard line now at Dallas. To Sullivan nailed after a gain of about 1.
Well, you know, it's a funny thing. They haven't run the ball all night, and now they're running the ball. I think really what they're trying to do is they're trying to get in a position to get that field goal, Howard. I don't think they want to take any chances in throwing the ball. All of a sudden now they've turned from the passing game to the running game.
Well, they got to get a little closer for field goal. Although not if Tom can do what he did against you guys those years back.
2nd down and 9. The ball's at the 31-yard line.
There he goes.
Carmichael, and he holds on. He has a 1st down. He's inside the 20. Big Harold Carmichael, the biggest target in the game today. Here he is against Charlie Waters. Waters turns him loose to Cliff Harris, the free safety.
Frank,
and they hit right between.
Excuse me, that's what we were talking about, a controlled passing game. Now he's going 8 and 6 yards instead of going for that bomb all the time.
Which is his better range.
Absolutely.
Exactly right.
Ball is on the 18-yard line. 1st and 10, Philadelphia. Clock moving. 4 minutes remaining on the scoreboard clock. And Tom Sullivan tripped up going over the right side.
Well, at the exactly critical moment, coming into our booth, when the Eagles are belaboring the Dallas Cowboys, as they always seem to do here in Philadelphia, we have been joined by the relic of the past, our old friend. Let's get that camera turned around. Right after this play, Giff, take over. Dandy Don Meredith is here.
2nd down and 10. The ball is at the 18-yard line. Sullivan, a hole in the left side, and he gets 7 yards. He's down just short of the 10-yard line.
Wait a minute.
Oh, my
Dallas
God.
recovered.
Fumbled the ball, and Dallas has recovered. Dallas has recovered.
Take a look into the camera, Dandy.
Son of a gun. Howard has it. Alex,
How you doing?
I'm fine, Don.
Well, I'm glad. Here it is in Philadelphia, and Howard's in the second half. I'm really delighted to hear about that.
The betting odds were against it.
Yes, they were. What's happening out there tonight?
What's happening? Your old buddy Dave Edwards just came up with the fumble for Dallas when they were in a lot of trouble.
I was really upset when they went for that field goal a while ago. Why did they do that? Howard, you always had those answers. Why did they do that?
I wanted him to go for it. Karras and Gifford agreed. Put the points on the board. There was a lot of time
There's the
left.
man on the screen right there that did it. He says, I'm going to go for 3. They've got it tied up here now. How you guys are doing? Take it away, Frank.
All right, 1st and 10 for Dallas. It's tied up at 10 apiece. 3 minutes and 13 seconds remaining in the game. They must move from their own 11. And Newhouse is nailed by Berge.
Sandy, what happens to the Dallas team against Philadelphia? Once a year, the Eagles give them fits.
I don't know. They beat them last year, which was a real surprise. I really don't know. It seems that Dallas just doesn't quite get it together. Dallas has a really good team, and the Eagles are struggling. What do you think?
I think you got a problem down there. I think they've benefited by your presence, though, in the recent... What? Do you miss us, kid?
I miss you a lot, Howard. You're doing a super job. Frank, get it again. There he is.
2nd down and 11. Newhouse lost 1, and this time Robert Newhouse comes back and picks up a couple of those yards.
That Newhouse is a little swift Don Nottingham.
He is a little swift, Don Nottingham. And there's the Dupree. It's not LG either. It really is. You guys do a good job. Let's see if Dallas can get something working here. Just want to come by and say, hey, do it good.
Okay, Dandy. Nice to see you.
3rd down and 7. Clock ticking, and the Cowboys are apparently waiting for the 2-minute warning. Looking away as Roman Gabriel looking on from the sidelines. They were so close when they fumbled the ball, turning over for the 3rd time tonight. We'll be back in a moment. 2 minutes left in the game from Philadelphia. 2 minutes at least left in the 4 regulation quarters. Should it be tied, as it is, as of the moment, at 10 apiece, we will move into a sudden death period. Tom Landry looking on and feeling much relieved, I'm sure, because the Eagles apparently were on their way to winning this football game, or at least going out in front, breaking that tie when they fumbled the football. Right now, the Cowboys have a 3rd down and 7. They're on their own 13-yard line as Mike McCormick looks on in his 2nd year as a head coach. Great player with the Cleveland Browns. Coach Fender, Otto Graham at Washington, Vince Lombardi, George Allen came here last year. And they're turning the Eagles around. On 3rd down. The effort complete to Pearson. Out of bounds at the 22-yard line. 1st down, Dallas.
That same pattern, Alex, all night to Pearson. That sideline pass.
Almost unstoppable, it seems like right now.
Just such a timing thing between the quarterback and the receiver. And, of course, finding a situation when the cornerback is going to be man for man on the receiver.
Pearson's caught 8 for 107 yards thus far tonight. Not a bad performance.
5 last week. Not a bad start. On 1st down. Drawback. Picked off by Randy Logan.
I don't believe it.
Not a ball that should have been thrown.
I do not believe this, Alex.
Well, that ball, like Frank said, it shouldn't have been thrown. I think he threw what we call cross course, and he didn't have to do that at all. I think if he did anything, he should eat the ball or just throw it way out of bounds on this one. He took a big chance. It's a big gamble here. The receiver wasn't even close to it, Howard.
All right, a big break for Philadelphia. They've had a few tonight. Not much offense, not a whole lot more defense, but they have had the breaks. I guess you could say they have made their breaks. They caused the fumble that gave them a 97-yard touchdown. Bo James over the right side. Clock moving at 1:42. Still not stopped by the Eagles. They have 3 timeouts remaining. And they are going to try and get it within the range, the field goal range of Tom Dempsey. Tom kicked a 44-yarder last week against St. Louis. He's kicked a 34-yarder tonight. 2nd down and 8. Clock still moving. Sullivan. And down goes Sullivan in the arms of Pat Toomey.
Well, Gabriel is playing safe now, looking for the field goal, but Dempsey's going to have a pretty long kick.
And, of course, keeping in mind that the game does not end tied at 10 apiece.
As Denver and Pittsburgh proved yesterday in our first overtime regular season game of the year.
I'll tell you, I used to gear myself to play 60 minutes. After that, I don't think I could have made 15 more.
Third down and 10.
Sound like the Players
Gabriel will do.
Association.
Gabriel, and this time he threw the ball down on the ground. I don't see any possible receiver, but apparently it will not be called.
Harvey Martin is unhappy with the call, or the absence of the call.
Fourth down, and out comes Tom Dempsey. 31 seconds remaining on the clock. And Dempsey will be kicking from about 45, 46 yards. And, well, what can you say?
In 3 plays, Gabriel negotiated a half yard.
Bill Bradley does the holding. It'll be from 45 yards. Well, now Bradley moves back, make it 46.
Close your eyes if you're for Dallas. That looks good.
It is good.
Dempsey does it again. Tom Dempsey does it again.
They're mobbing him. He saved this game in more ways than one. He stopped Dennis Morgan after he kicked off the last time, and Morgan would have gone all the way probably if Dempsey had not made the tackle.
Doggone it, if anyone's going to kick a field goal, I'd like to see Tom Dempsey do it. Even though he beat us and he's beaten Dallas tonight, he's a terrific guy and a great competitor. Here's a guy who really shouldn't even be on a football field, but he still likes to play the game.
25 seconds remaining in the game. The Eagles have moved out in front of Dallas 13-10. And we'll be back. Tom Dempsey sets it up. He kicked a 34-yard field goal earlier. He saved a possible Dallas touchdown with a tackle on a kickoff. And he hit from 46 yards out a few moments ago to put the Eagles out in front of Dallas 13-10.
And he's not signed to a contract. They're letting him play out his option. Maybe after this, there'll be a management change.
25 seconds on the scoreboard clock. Dennis Morgan fields it at the 12. Struggling to get out of bounds, and he does not get out of bounds. Hit there by Marion Reeves.
21 seconds left in the game. There it is.
Well, there's a little rhubarb going on. They're questioning each other's ancestry now, I think, Frank.
Well, they do scramble around a bit. All right, Dallas has 3 timeouts. They have 21 seconds. And after last week in Buffalo, we will hesitate to say that it's all over.
And who knows what next Monday night will bring, with Denver going into the national capital to play the men of George Allen.
Dallas will make their attempt moving from their own 18-yard line.
Do they have Hayes in the game right now? I don't
No,
see
it's Pearson and Richards, the wide receivers. Eagles in the prevent defense. They'll let nothing go deep if they can avoid it. It's complete to Pearson. Pearson out to midfield.
His 9th reception, Frank. What an evening he's having.
Look at him again. Now he'll find a gap in that prevent defense. Eagles playing total zone back there. He finds the hole. Staubach hits him beautifully. 14 seconds remaining. Pearson has now caught 9 for 133 yards.
And Dallas with a timeout.
And now if you're a defensive lineman, you're going to get teed up to rush that passer. You don't care about the run anymore, so you're going to be teeing off. You don't even care about that offensive guy in front of you. You're going to try to get rid of him as soon as you can and get to that passer.
Staubach over conferring with head coach Tom Landry. What is really difficult to do, and that's what you want to do, is try to go to the outside and hit your receiver, let him get out of bounds, and kill the clock. The trouble is the defenders also know that.
Well, they're coming to us in the booth, and I've got with me the executive producer of the forthcoming Frank Sinatra main event on October 13th, live from Madison Square Garden. His name's Jerry Weintraub, and if the golden one with the golden voice and the big blue eyes can produce this kind of drama and excitement for you, you've got a big show coming up.
He can. Live, the main event, October 13th. Howard, Cosell, and Frank Sinatra.
You're very kind. There's your plug. We've got to go back to this game. Jerry Weintraub, ladies and gentlemen. Gipper.
First and 10. Dallas now down to one timeout. They have the ball on their own 45. They need something very dramatic, and they have it. Drew Pearson out of bounds at the 31. John Outlaw covering. There are 7 seconds remaining on the clock. Well, as we said, it's not over.
No, it's not over. Pearson has been simply unstoppable tonight.
Well, you know, the defensive backs are pumping so far back there, and they're giving them too doggone much room. You know, I don't mind them doing what they're doing, but play them a little more tighter than they're playing right now. They can still get in field goal position. You got to play a little tighter. He just beat the guy way outside. He wasn't even around him.
I think it was precisely what I was saying that they were going to try and prevent them from doing, Alex, and they just gave him too much room to the outside. Meanwhile, Mac Percival has come onto the field.
Well, it's like a week ago when Oakland tried it.
His attempt will be from about 48 yards, his field goal attempt, to tie it up and go into sudden death overtime. 7 seconds remaining on the clock.
10 receptions tonight for Mr. Pearson for 157 yards. Scoreboard shows the drama of the situation.
I'll tell you, you can imagine the churning that's going on in the stomach of Mac Percival. And again, that 10 yards coming into play so dramatically as it has in preseason play. We've seen so many fewer field goals throughout preseason in the opening week of play.
Send a letter to Alvin Pete Rozelle, will you, Gip? Thank him for these games, the schedule, as far as we've gone. I'll send him the bad notice when we get a bad one.
Craig Martin will hold at the 38. That means a 48-yard attempt. No good.
No good.
Off to the left. And 2 seconds remaining on the clock. Well, I guess we can safely say it's all over.
The Philadelphia Eagles have won this football game. And going into the season, who would have predicted that after 2 games, only one team in the Eastern Division would be unbeaten, and that team would be the St. Louis Cardinals. Mike McCormick is joyful. Tom Landry in the play of the coach's faces is disconsolate. The apparent inscrutability is there as he chews the gum, but as Frank said, things churn inside this man. Another National Football League upset on Monday Night Football.
385 yards of offense for Dallas, 167 for Philadelphia. Mac Percival on the bench. Should not be too dejected. A 48-yarder, possible, but not terribly realistic. That's it. Philadelphia has won their first game of the year, and Roman Gabriel takes the football off the field. Mike McCormick looking for Tom Landry, and Tom Landry heading to the locker room. And you know that this man feels this loss of the game. Hates to lose any of them, but when you dominate as they did tonight, well, it hurts a little more. And Mike McCormick turned the Eagles around last year with a real fine finish, coming up with a 5-8-1 season. As a team, that's definitely going to be a contender, and they are for real. Philadelphia Eagles 13, the Dallas Cowboys 10. We'll be back in just a moment. So again, the Philadelphia Eagles have defeated the Dallas Cowboys 13-10. ABC's NFL Monday Night Football continues next Monday night when the Denver Broncos meet the Washington Redskins. The executive producer of NFL Monday Night Football is Boone Arledge. Coverage of tonight's game was produced by Don Oldmeyer, directed by Chet Forty. Our technical director, Bill Morris, our associate director, Dick Buffington. Don't forget that this Saturday, ABC's Wide World of Sports will bring you the always popular Harlem Globetrotters performing in London. And at the mic, a former Globetrotter himself, Will Chamberlain. Also featured will be the 25th running of the famed Southern 500 stock car race from Darlington, South Carolina, featuring defending champion Cale Yarborough. That's ABC's Wide World of Sports this Saturday at 5 Eastern and Pacific Time, 4 Central, over most of these ABC stations. Once again, the final score, Philadelphia 13, Dallas 10. This is Frank Gifford along with Howard Cosell, Alex Garris, saying so long from the Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. There's a new spirit, a new look in the friendly skies. Catch the spirit of friendship service. The proceeding was a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.